to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Shiver, shiver. A little chilly out there. What is the coldest game you have had to ump so far this year? Because it has to exist. It has to be like everyone is out there, especially no one more so than the parents in the stands.
Yeah.
That are all wearing a blanket.
Okay, so I could be wrong about this, but because, I'll tell you, last night I thought we were going to have a cold game, and then we showed up.
Last night was pretty nice. The sun came out.
The sun came out, and it was beautiful.
It was warm, and it had been cool all day long, and then all of a sudden the sun came out.
I was layered up. We get to the field, we walk in the field, the sun comes out.
Yeah.
I was like sweating under my jacket.
Yeah.
So anyway, I actually think the Oneida County, I did at one of the Oneida County Stop PWI games. It was Notre Dame and Holland Patton on Saturday night that weekend, which I think it was 2 weeks ago now. And it was like 46 degrees, but there was a decent wind also.
Yeah, that's the worst.
And then there was no sun. There was at one point, like the sixth inning, the sun came out for like 3 minutes, and I don't remember which team was on the field, but like the second baseman looked at me and he was like, "Oh, wow, that feels good, doesn't it?" Because it immediately went up. Yeah. They have a thermometer, I don't know how accurate it is, on the scoreboard at Murnane, and it went from 46 to like 53, right? And then the cloud came behind and almost immediately went back down to 47. So I will say I had a game last year, I think it was, maybe it was 2 years ago. I forget. They kind of overlap. But it was March 28th was my first game, and we might have had flurries for that game.
Okay.
And it felt like March 28th that day.
Well, it feels...
It might have been like 39 degrees or something.
It looks beautiful out right now, but it feels a little on the chilly side.
But staying in the sun, it feels good.
Yeah, it's 30, maybe 33 degrees.
33 right now.
Yeah. Okay, lots to get into here today. We'll have the latest on this Hantavirus cruise, Hanta, however you pronounce it. I know it's pronounced death. It's pretty bad. And then the latest on the Iran war. There seems to be, we're in a stalemate with Iran right now. And neither side, us nor them, can find a way out and be able to really claim victory.
Is this Cold War 2.0 here?
It's an ugly one. It's an ugly, like a deep freeze war. Dr. Ken Hall is on today. We'll speak with Paul Buckley has He's the Movie Czar, There's a new movie that is, I was watching some of it last night, and it's really good, and it's made here, and we'll get into that. There's going to be some premieres going on. Farmer Ben is in about the what it's going to cost you to have your barbecue this season.
Oh boy!
And I would ask the question: how long can I keep my meat in the freezer?
Can I tell you?
Some will say, well, it's only 12 months. Only 12 months, and then you must, I don't know, it's still frozen. And I have meat that's a little older than 12 months, and I'm riding it out.
Yeah.
Is that bad? I don't think so.
If we catch an invite for an afternoon cookout for a brainstorming session.
This burger tastes like it's been around for a while.
Tell them you had a late breakfast and you're not in the mood, okay?
We'll speak with Ben on that. Dan Fusco is running for the 119th Assembly. He's coming in, and we'll have him in studio. That primary, the early voting begins in like the first week in June, so we still have a little while, but it's starting soon. All of it.
Real quick, we'll just take a step back, and I hope Andrew doesn't get upset with me for sharing this story, although I might have mentioned this on the air before, but you talk about the meat. So, first of all, when Farmer Ben came in last time, he brought in 2 pounds of ground beef.
Yes.
And here, try this. Great. And
very good.
It's phenomenal. Oh my goodness, it's so good. And I can also say that way back in the day when Andrew and I roomed together, he had purchased, or maybe a family member of his had purchased meat from Sheriff Mayfield. So he had this steak, and it was a large steak.
Yeah.
And it was in the freezer, and he said it was about a year. And he goes, boy, I don't know if that's good anymore. And I said, so you're not going to eat it? And he goes, no, if you want to try. It was, hands down, the best steak I've ever made in my life.
I got to tell you,
even close.
if you ever have a question on whether or not you should eat something, you should call me.
Yeah.
Because my answer is, yeah, why not? I mean,
it was frozen the whole
is
time.
Is it frozen? Or my favorite is, this Best Buy date on this milk is 3 days over. I guess we're going to have to. Don't even think about it. Bring it over here. There's nothing wrong with that milk. Let me smell it.
I would throw it out, and I'm serious. If it's 3 days old, I don't drink it. I go out and buy a new one.
All right. Well,
Milk-
good for you.
Milk can be tricky. I do the same thing.
You
When I
got to smell it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, and milk has a smell anyway.
Yes.
And then you get that moment that when you smell it, you're like, I don't know. Was there some milk around the ring that got a little old? And is that what I'm smelling?
The same way.
So that's good. Yeah, it's all right. Shake
when
it
my
up.
grandfather was alive.
Shake it up.
When my grandfather was alive,
Yeah.
he was a milk inspector for 45 years. We always used to say, "Could you test this milk and see if it's good?" Yeah, it's good. You
Yeah,
guys
of
can
course
use it
he
for
was.
your cereal.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you. The Best Buy means what? It's best if you buy it by here. It's not telling you anything more than that. And now, places that I don't screw around, speaking of Farmer Ben meat, I had a 2-pound, his come in tubes.
Yeah.
And I had a 2-pound tube, and we were making, my wife and I were having burgers. And I cut it in half. I thawed it, cut it in half, put the one half in the refrigerator, and then we cooked. And then 3 nights later, I said, I've got that ground beef in the fridge. I'm going to go back and then just before I cooked it, I looked it up and how long can you keep ground beef in the refrigerator thawed?
That's not jammed with preservatives, by the way.
Yeah,
it's fresh, local.
Fresh.
Yeah.
And the answer was 24 to 48 hours tops.
Gotcha.
So I'm well over 48 hours, and I had to throw it out.
Well, I mentioned that.
So you don't mess around with chicken either. Chicken, fish. Beef is not as bad, but in the old days, my uncle used to work at a grocery store, and they would. He swears this is true. They would go through, and then the meat would get a little old, and there would be a green mold that would form on the meat. They would wash it off with bleach and put it right back out there. Yep. Now, that was in the 70s.
Oh, my.
Can't imagine anybody's getting away with that today, but...
Oh, my.
Yeah. Well, we just wipe it down with bleach, and we'd put it right back out there. People would love it.
Real quick on the milk, I actually had the last gallon I bought? It was like 5 days before the Best Buy date, and I kind of
think about that.
Gave it a whiff, and I wasn't liking it, and I poured like a little, like less than an ounce. I just wanted to give it a smell in the cup because same thing. I think about the ring on top, and I went, no, we're getting rid of this. I don't know why. If maybe when they transported it, it got left out left outside.
Eggs are supposed to last for a while.
Yeah.
But there is a test with an egg. But I can't remember which it is. I think if you put the egg in like a bowl of water and it floats, I think then it's not good. But you know, what is not good, right? I mean, what is not good? Are you going to eat it raw? Are you going to cook it? But if a
little seasoning on there.
If it goes to the bottom of the bowl, then the egg is still fresh. But eggs will sit for a long time in the grocery store before you'll ever buy them in the grocery store.
Okay, hang on. Let's see.
It's the flow test.
You're right. To check if eggs are good, place them in a bowl of cold water. If they sink and lie flat on their side, they are fresh. If they stand on one end but still sink, they're older but safe. If they float, they should be discarded.
Yeah, floated are not good, so they say. I also want to get in this morning, too. There was a great, awful story. Is that such a thing? that happened a little bit downstate at a girls', I believe, flag football game, and it turned into a brawl. I have that story coming up in a second. Right now, Tanya J is standing by from Fox News Radio. Tanya, good morning, and we're talking about this Hantavirus and the latest on the cruise. It looks like the Americans have landed back in the States, and we talked a little bit about this the other day. How far are we going when it comes to putting these people in quarantine? Well, we're imposing a quarantine in the United States, but in other countries, it's even worse. It's like you're stuck for weeks, and you have no choice. Tanya, good morning.
Good morning. Well, it's because the incubation period is, I think it's 42 days.
Yeah, think about that.
It's a long incubation period since the last time you were exposed to it. So that's one of the reasons that this could take weeks, because if somebody was, exposed to this in the last, few days, they could be in there a while. I mean, a lot of people think that would be terrible. I'm an introvert, so don't threaten me with a good time of staying inside for 4 weeks.
Give you a good book and make sure you have a cable subscription, and you're just fine.
Yeah, just set me up with I have access to my books, my yarn, my coffee. I'm fine. I'll just be chilling in here. But there's 18 people who have been brought back, the passengers, the American passengers, who have been range in age from their late 20s to their 80s. At least one of them is a U.S. British citizen, a dual citizen, according to what the health information we got from the folks yesterday during the press conference. At some point, they may be able to leave the medical centers they're at and go quarantine at their house, but it just depends on how they're doing, because that would have to be like an individualized plan for them to see how they're doing with their recovery, but their waiting period.
It's serious business to not let this spread any further into the United States or spread into the U.S.
I do have to say, though, I have questions about the person who has a confirmed case. Was that the one taken to Nebraska, some decontamination facility?
Yeah.
The other ones,
16 that were taken to Nebraska. 16. It's the National Quarantine Unit. In Omaha. That is the nation's only federal funded quarantine center. Those passengers are in good shape. The two that are at Emory in Atlanta, and apparently they sent them there because they wanted to leave a little bit of room at the other one. It wasn't like, these are serious and we need to take them to Emory. They do have symptoms. Well, one of them had symptoms. But they wanted to make sure that they didn't completely fill up the space at the Omaha one, in case that more people in quarantine had to be transferred to the biocontainment unit, things like that.
So do we know? Maybe this is too much into the weeds, but it's 16 people. So now, are they like a 16-person community for the next month and a half, 2 months, or are they individually isolated and quarantined by themselves?
That's a good question, and I'm not sure if they're quarantined I would assume by themselves, but I don't know.
I would think once you have symptoms, it's like it probably doesn't even matter. But if you don't have, they all have symptoms. Yeah.
I don't know if they all have symptoms. I thought some of them were asymptomatic. Apparently, according to what we're understanding from the medical director at the National Quarantine Unit, he said passengers were in good shape. That's a quote, and asymptomatic. He said they were tired and they needed some rest. But one has symptoms. That person and their partner were sent to Emory.
I got to tell you, what I find very interesting about all of this? COVID. When COVID came to the United States, how did it arrive? It arrived on a cruise ship, and it was docked off the state of Washington, if you remember. And President Trump was like, "We're not letting it in. We're not letting it. Sorry, you're gonna have to stay out there in the water." And then sooner or later, it came in. And then it seems that there's a common denominator here, because the first plague that in 1920, is that when the first that quarantine was? That also came from a boat. That was during World War I, and the soldiers came home from overseas on a boat and brought that flu here. So it's funny how these boats putting all these people in small confined into that's where it's all coming from. I mean, that's where it's being spread.
That's one of the that's the way it got to that end of the country. The way it got to this end of the country.
Yeah.
If you'll recall, that was a plane.
Yeah, New York.
Yeah.
I remember too. I hate to be I'm in a reminiscing mood today. I don't know why. But I also remember when the first case, we were actually at a happy hour, and all of a sudden it spread through the crowd like crazy. Oneida County has a COVID case, and everybody was was talking about it. And I'm sure it was the same in New York. It's hard to believe we went through all of that, but this has remnants. You feel remnants of that time. But they're telling us this is under control, and I hope they're right.
Yeah, it is one of those things to obviously know about. But this we've had other things that have kind of come through here that have not been as serious, but things that we were concerned about. Obviously, keep an eye on it. But at this point, no, this is not a widespread thing. All
right, Tanya, thank you so much. We appreciate it, and you have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Tanya J. Powers from Fox News Radio. It was 1918 was that flu pandemic that hit the United States and hit the world.
Was it Spanish flu?
It was a Spanish flu, but that was kind of an unfair blame. We really played a major role in spreading it by bringing all of our soldiers back, and it.
Was that what it was, though? We labeled it that to blame?
Yeah, I think I forget the whole story, but it was not necessarily Spanish, if you will. It really came out of the...
I mean, what? It left you speaking with an accent? I don't...
No. I just think we were looking for some place to blame back then. And remember, the same thing occurred here, right? We might as well have called it the Chinese COVID. Because everybody was looking for that place to blame, and how was it done on purpose? Was it, if you remember all of that controversy? But at the end of the day, it spreads.
I don't see it that way as I mean, we call it Lyme disease. What is it, Lyme, whatever because it was first detected there. We're not blaming the people who live in that state.
This isn't an opinion. This is if you remember, there were huge controversies over where it came from. And arguments and fights, and one side said it was definitely the Chinese. It came from a lab. Don't you remember all that craziness?
I do. I remember Trump called it the China flu or the China virus.
China flu. It was China. If you're going to do the accent, you better get it right. China.
Everyone said he was like a horrible racist,
Yes, it was a whole mess back then. That's all.
And I was like, I don't understand
simply
that.
saying it was a major controversy.
Gotcha.
Depending on where you are on it, I really found myself no place. Although I will tell you, I learned a lot during COVID. Because you were quarantined and you sat in a room by yourself. So YouTube taught you the world. I learned how to make a submarine, a military submarine during COVID. It was unbelievable. Good morning, Wayne. You have a story.
Hey, guys. Well, I want to tell you this. Here's what they ought to do with that boat. Bleach it and then burn it.
Yeah,
the boat.
Bleach it, burn it.
And then the people, you could put them all on the line and bleach them all.
Bleach them first, and we don't have to burn them, but warm them up a little bit.
Yeah, you could do the half of it, bleach them. So you guys are going to love this story. I used to work in a pizzeria, a local pizzeria, and both of these...
Please don't tell us which one it was until...
I just told you. They were local. They're not around anymore.
Oh, okay, good.
But the owners are still alive. They're just their pizzerias are just not around anymore.
Fair enough.
So when I worked there, we used to pull out the wings, and back in the day, the wings were popular, but they didn't always sell as quick. So you pull them out, you'd smell them, and when you smell them, the guy would tell me, "Hey, don't go throwing them out. That's the brine you're smelling." Well, they were clearly rotted. Okay, so he would tell us to put them into a colander, rinse them off, and then spray bleach on them, because his buddy from the other pizzeria said that's what you do to bring them back to life and give them a new, so you don't waste them. He goes, you can't waste them. They're $100 a barrel or whatever. And so he would, I would never did it, but he turned around, he would spray these things, and we would sit there and rinse them. And I'll tell you what, they smell like a clean shirt afterwards.
Wow. Yeah, that's exactly the story that my uncle had with meat, and they'd wipe them down because you got to get the green stuff off. But bleach did everything. in the day. But it sounds like
this need Lucia on because he was Italian.
Okay. It does sound like, though, that this doesn't go back that far. Like, this doesn't go back into the 70s.
No. We're talking about 2005.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you trust the place that you go to. You know, if I'm going somewhere, I go there because I trust it.
Yeah, and the best part, Bill, was that this guy was his friend, and he had two pizzerias, like one in one part of Utica and one in another part. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. There's no way that this is a thing.
And I'll bet. And you just wipe that, spray it a little bit with the bleach, it'll be just fine.
You just do it, he goes. Just do it.
My guess is you didn't recommend eating there to your family.
No. I would tell people that that I knew. Just you gotta don't order wings there at the least, because everything else you could probably get by on, but the wings and chicken, don't do it.
All right. Good story there, Wayne. There you go. And that's chicken. That's chicken. You're talking about.
Wayne, send me a message, please.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Wayne.
Later, guys.
Later, man.
I also had somebody recently who's a friend who used to, I don't want to say what they did, but they would enter restaurants often for work, different restaurants, and they gave us a list of not to, and that just killed me.
Well, I don't know. You didn't finish the sentence.
That's because I don't want to finish it. In fact, Manaski has an update.
All right. Let me finish these sentences here. We have a freeze warning continuing until 9 this morning. Right now, sunshine, 33 degrees. Bill, President Trump will leave for China today for a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The meeting between the two leaders comes at a pivotal time in U.S.-China relations with the emergence of the Iran war. Iran's top negotiator says U.S. taxpayers will pay the price if the U.S. does not accept his country's peace plan. That proposal suggests efforts to end the war in a month, removing sanctions on Iran, paying reparations, and a new method of governing the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump said he has found Iran's proposals completely unacceptable. Republicans picking up another victory Monday in the Supreme Court in the ongoing redistricting battle. In a 6-3 ruling, the justices lifted a federal court's injunction against Alabama Republicans' congressional map, paving the way for it to be used in the 2026 midterms. That move gives Republicans a shot at picking up at least one extra House seat. Nebraska and West Virginia hold primary elections today. In the Cornhusker state, voters will decide candidates for an open U.S. Senate seat, all 3 U.S. House districts, and for governor. In West Virginia, Republican Senator Shelley Moore Capito faces 5 challengers in her primary race. Senior citizens are increasingly turning to cannabis for self-medication. A new study published by JAMA Network Open,
Jamaman.
It looked at adults aged 60 to 85 in the state of Colorado. It found they are increasingly using cannabis edibles to help with pain, sleep issues, and mental health concerns. Most of these users are doing so without medical guidance. Most also wanted to avoid pharmaceuticals. And the Oklahoma City Thunder are heading to the Western Conference Finals. They are the defending NBA champions. They completed a 4-game sweep of LeBron James and the LA Lakers 115-110 last night. The Thunder will face either the Spurs or T-Wolves in the next round. Those two teams face off tonight. Their series tied at 2 apiece. Sunshine, a freeze warning till 9. Right now 33 at 6:45.
I figured we'd be here. Freeze warning now with some areas under frost advisories this morning. Cold May morning. As we head on through the day, we'll do a little bit better. Plenty of sunshine to help out with that task. Here's 60. Still on the cool side. Tonight, some showers coming in late. 43 North Country, a little cooler. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm with a front coming through tomorrow. Low 60s. And a chance of showers and thunder showers tomorrow night into Thursday. On the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stitchick, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Oh, we've ticked up to 34.
Oh,
freeze warning continues, though, until 9 o'clock.
Comments on YouTube here this morning. Ja Wick, love Dr. Hall, but please no more talk about ticks. For the love of God. Well, I was at the doctor's. I won't talk about it, but I was there being checked on a tick bite. That they don't think that my doctor doesn't think it was a tick, but I have a Lyme test. Do you know you cannot take the Lyme test until 4 weeks after you've been bitten? But if you start to get a ring, they immediately put you on an antibiotic.
Interesting.
And I don't have the ring. He thinks it might have been a spider bite, which whatever it is took like a little chunk right out of my leg. Yeah.
Oh boy.
And it got
yeah,
infected.
that's not a tick.
They say it can be if you rip it off and it takes skin with it.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
But I don't have the. I don't.
Well, did you rip it off? Did you have something on you
Yeah,
that
I
you
was
ripped
driving
off?
down the road and I scratched my leg. Didn't even know what I scratched, and it did it. Yeah, that happened.
Boy, my dog has Lyme antibodies.
Is Farmer Ben's meat in stores? The answer to that is I do not believe so.
I don't think so either.
But you could reach out to him. He'll be on the show today. This is Barry. Vacuum sealed meat generally lasts in the freezer 2 to 3 years, and I would agree with that. Only because we've used it, and you just want to make sure that your freezer, you don't have a power outage and go like days or something without power. Otherwise, it's perfectly fine.
Again, it was there about it was approximately 1 year, and I'll never forget. Andrew went, "You ate that?"
Yeah,
and
I can't worry about 1
was
year.
The
My God,
best steak I have ever had in my entire life. Yes, I ate it, the whole thing. There's nothing left.
And also, Nick, this morning, the Yankees aren't hitting. Yankees lose again. They've been had a little downslide these days. Those New York Yankees. Let me take
nothing like the Mets, though.
Nothing like the Mets. But at least they get a feel for kind of what it's like for us Mets fans. On the line right now is Jonathan Savage, Fox News Radio. We are not giving you the latest. I know that the president is heading to China, but this is Putin kind of taking a little trick out of the President Trump box by claiming that the war is over, the Ukraine war is over, and claiming victory. Europe, I guess, does not agree. Jonathan Savage, what do we know about this one?
Yeah, a lot of skepticism there when Vladimir Putin said that he thinks the matter is coming to an end. Europe saying that, for all his words, Vladimir Putin is showing no actual signs of being interested in peace. Vladimir Putin also perhaps being a little bit mischievous because he also suggested that Europe could use a former German chancellor as a mediator between Europe and Moscow. Unfortunately, that former German chancellor, Gerhard Schroeder, has long-standing personal business ties, not just to the Kremlin, but Russian state energy firms as well. So that proposal has been immediately rejected.
And I think as the peace, or at least a pause, had been declared by Russia, during that time, they were still bombing Ukraine.
There was a ceasefire, a 3-day ceasefire mediated by the United States between Ukraine and Russia that was meant to last from May 9th to May 11th. But very quickly, both sides accused the other of repeated violations. And while Ukraine offered to extend the ceasefire, as soon as it ended, Russia launched more than 200 drones. President Zelensky said Russia itself chose to end the partial silence.
And then a lot of stories coming out about Putin being in trouble with his own people and losing power, losing credibility. Is there any truth to that? What are your thoughts, Jonathan?
Vladimir Putin certainly maintains an image of power, of control, but there are signs that Russians are viewing Vladimir Putin's war and his policies as being Putin's war, not Russia's war. In Moscow, in wider parts of Russia, they have seen the drone attacks come towards their territory. They've seen internet blackouts, and they are seeing a downturn in the economy. And I think if there is some sort of economic collapse in Russia, it would be a very, very difficult thing for Putin to continue. He may need to find an off-ramp. But in terms of his position, he's pretty much unassailable internally in Russia.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. Jonathan, as always, thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Take care.
Jonathan Savage with Fox News Radio. Quick break. We'll come back. I told you, downstate, I believe, maybe Westchester, they have a girls' varsity flag football program. And one just ended in a brawl, and it wasn't necessarily the students doing the brawling. I'll give you this.
I have to tell you, it usually isn't.
It isn't. It usually isn't. I'll give you the story coming up.
Attention vendors, crafters, and collectors. Looking for the perfect place to sell your goods and reach thousands of eager shoppers? It's the world's largest yard sale, happening again this year at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds, June 20th. It's the ultimate selling opportunity. No more setting up signs, hoping for traffic, or dealing with no-shows. At the world's largest yard sale, thousands of shoppers come ready to buy. Whether you sell antiques, collectibles, handmade crafts, vintage clothing, or secondhand treasures, this is the place to be. But hurry, booth spaces are filling up fast. Secure yours today and get ready to turn your inventory into instant cash. It's the world's largest yard sale at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds, June 20th. Sell more, earn more. Reserve your spot now. For vendor info and booth reservations, visit the events page on this station's website. Don't wait. This event is too big to miss.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They've been your hometown buyer for over 50 years. While other gold and silver buyers claim to offer the highest prices, the Potting Shed Antiques actually delivers. Let Don Hartman take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. The Potting Shed Antiques, open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Visit thepottingshedantiques.com.
We're your neighbors, friends, and your family. We care about our community, your business, and most important, you.
We support charities like the United Way, McMahon Ryan Child Advocacy Center, who are the members of IBW Local 43 and NECA Contractors. You don't just see our work, you live it. From the JMA Wireless Dome, hospitals, schools, and city buildings, the IBEW is part of the community.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
At Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield, we are dedicated to helping you understand your benefits and how to use them. It's one of the reasons why, for the third straight year, we have been named #1 in customer satisfaction among Medicare Advantage plans in New York, and #1 for ease of doing business by J.D. Power. We were named most trusted, too. We remain committed to giving you high-quality coverage and the best possible Medicare experience. Learn more at medicare.excellusbcbs.com. For J.D. Power 2025 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Start your savings at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Now through May 31st, get up to $180 back on a Bridgestone prepaid MasterCard. Get $80 back when you buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires. Get an additional $100 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Don't wait. These offers end May 31st. Visit Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, or online at tallmanstire.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Did you know your most treasured rugs can look new again? At ABC Chem Dry, we specialize in premium area rug cleaning. From treasured family heirlooms to fine rugs from around the world, our trained specialists use a careful 5-step process inspecting, dusting, cleaning, drying, grooming, and protecting, so your rug always gets the expert care it deserves. Don't wait. Call ABC Chem Dry today at 315-738-1111 to schedule a drop-off or pickup.
Keeler in the Morning invites you to connect with us through telephonic communication at 315-736-0186 or use the Call Us button on the WIBX 950 app. For additional contact methodologies, please refer to WIBX950.com.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
.56 and Tuesday morning, and cold and sunny, and I do see. I'm sure you see the same thing on your weather app if you're obsessed with it like I am.
Yeah.
And if you're obsessed with it, you know it changes often.
Yeah.
When you look out, especially if you're looking out long term. It says we're at 32 here right now. Next
these
hour
apps are funny because now it's telling me Utica jump to 36.
There is a chance of snow next hour.
Stop.
Albeit a small chance.
Yeah.
60 though today. 60 and sunshine. It should warm up just a little bit today. But as you look forward to the weekend, right now the weekend looks really nice. I hope it doesn't change. But I'm showing
85 Monday
mostly
too,
sunny, 77. On Saturday, mostly sunny. On Sunday, 73. I'm showing 79 on Monday, but I'm sure mine will change. Again, depending on the app, but really 60, upper 60s, low to mid 70s all next week. So maybe we're finally making the transition that we all hope for. All right, you want this story? This is a story of flag football. And the ladies were playing. It's a varsity program, flag football. And they, of course, I've lost the story. I'm sorry. But I'm getting there. So they're all playing. And as I said, it is not you can tell I'm stalling to find the story.
I got it right here. You want it?
Parents allegedly punched teens, threatened mass shooting, all at a varsity flag football game. What is going on? Police arrested 2 parents following a physical altercation involving players from 2 high school girls flag football games, game on Thursday of last week. Jonathan Perez, a 35-year-old, allegedly engaged in a physical struggle with a 16-year-old boy, threatened bystanders with a knife, and vowed to commit a mass shooting at the school during the melee. This is in Suffolk County, downstate. Shalaya Gatlin, 37, is accused of punching a 16-year-old girl in the chest and another in the face while also threatening a 15-year-old. 3 victims were treated for minor injuries. The punchers are all adults.
Okay.
What is going on? This is, by the way, just off Long Island. So.
Yeah, Wyandanch, I think, is the one, and Southampton is the other. Yeah. Okay, I have conflicting thoughts here. First of all, Gatlin was charged with multiple counts of harassment, which, am I correct, that's a misdemeanor, and acting in a manner to injure a child. If she punched 2 people, how is she not charged with assault? How is that?
I know.
Underage people, no less.
Yeah. Underage.
Harassment? It's a misdemeanor. Yeah. Perez faces similar charges along with criminal possession of a weapon and making a threat of mass harm. That's more serious, but again, he did threaten to come back and commit a mass shooting.
Yeah.
Okay. But no charges of assault there. That's number 1. I will say this. I have not seen the video, but we have, yes. Look, if I see 3 kids stomping my kid out, I might swing at them.
You're going to get involved, and I don't know how you can't. News is coming right up.
WIBX Utica Road, W295 From the WB Payne Insurance Studio, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
Another Hantavirus positive test in Spain. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Someone else who was on that stricken cruise ship that's been evacuated. The AP reports 11 positive cases so far. But the World Health Organization's director, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, maintains the risk is low.
At the moment, there is no sign that we are seeing the start of a larger outbreak.
But it can take weeks for the hantavirus to show symptoms, so a Dutch hospital is going to quarantine 12 staff members for 42 days
for mishandling a patient's blood and waste, potentially exposing them. 16 Americans taken off the ship are isolated at the University of Nebraska. One who tested positive is in a biocontainment unit. So is one of the 2 people taken to Atlanta because of mild symptoms. As for others who got off the ship earlier,
right now, Georgia, Texas, Virginia, Arizona, California, New York, Maryland, and Nebraska are all monitoring people for potential symptoms.
That's Fox's Alex Hogan. Now to the Iran conflict.
The Middle East is bracing for the possibility that the region returns to war in the days ahead. Iran's parliament speaker Mohammad Khalibaf posted to X overnight saying, "Our armed forces are ready to deliver a well-deserved response to any aggression. Mistaken strategy and mistaken decisions will always lead to mistaken results. The whole world has already figured this out. We are prepared for all options. They will be surprised."
That's Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv as Israel sends Iron Dome defense systems to the United Arab Emirates. Iran's attacked the UAE numerous times. This after President Trump rejected Iran's counter-proposal as garbage, saying the ceasefire's on life support.
It's unbelievably weak.
Later today, he heads to Beijing, where the president will hold talks with China's leader, and the Iran conflict will likely be a big issue. China relies heavily on Iran for oil, but the U.S. military continues to blockade Iran's ports, and the price of oil is rising almost 4%. WTI back at $102 a barrel almost. At the gas pump, though, a 2-cent decline today. AAA's national average for regular $4.50 a gallon. America's listening to Fox News.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-884-1012 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-884-1012. That's 800-884-1012. What do you have to lose? Call 800-884-1012. Again, 800-884-1012.
It's primary day in 2 states. In Nebraska, where the polls open next hour, there's a House seat in focus. Republican Congressman Don Bacon is not up for re-election. A Trump-backed Republican is running unopposed. Several Democrats are vying for the nomination, hoping to flip that seat in November from red to blue. The polls opened in West Virginia about a half hour ago.
Senator Shelley Moore Capito faces 5 Republican challengers, but she has several endorsements, including one from President Trump, as she looks to win a 3rd term. The drama today may lie in state legislative races. All 100 House seats are up for election, as are many state Senate seats, and the Republican governor, Patrick Morrisey, has endorsed some Republican challengers to incumbents in his own party. In one Senate district, Capito's endorsed the incumbent, Morrisey's endorsed the challenger. Republican Congressman Riley Moore is running unopposed. The state's other member of Congress, Carol Miller, has a primary challenger, businessman Larry Jackson, though Miller has outraised him significantly. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are down ahead of an inflation report we're going to get on consumer prices next hour. This is the day after more gains lifted the NASDAQ to a record high. In the NBA, the Thunder remain undefeated in the playoffs, sweeping the Lakers and begging this question.
Did LeBron play the final game of his NBA career last night? He scored 24 points and grabbed 14 rebounds in the last Lakers game of the season. Los Angeles was swept in 4 games of the Western Conference semifinals by the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder. LeBron has already set an NBA record, playing a 23rd season. Is number 24 in store?
I mean, with my future, I don't know, obviously. I mean, obviously we're still fresh from, obviously losing. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the future holds for me, obviously.
LeBron James' NBA future in question after he and the Lakers were knocked out by the Thunder last night, 115-110 in Game 4.
That's Fox's Jared Bax. Also last night, Cleveland beat Detroit 112-103 to tie that series 2-2. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
We have some sunshine. We're up to 36 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 7:05. This news update is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit clintontractor.net. A local DPW worker is recovering after he was trapped under a large drum roller on Monday. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office says 54-year-old Shane Bailey of Newport was driving the large vehicle when it lost power. The equipment eventually rolled off the road and overturned, trapping Bailey. Deputies say his injuries are considered non-life-threatening. He was taken to a local hospital. A Rome woman facing charges after she allegedly threatened to blow up an apartment building. This after Rome PD responded to an overdose call at a building on North Washington Street. Officers say Courtney Robinson made comments about wanting to hurt herself and blow up the building. She's accused of turning on the gas in her apartment and using a lighter to try and ignite several items. Robinson was taken for a mental health evaluation and eventually charged with attempted arson. Price Chopper and Market 32 providing customers the chance to give worn American flags a dignified retirement. The supermarket chain is teaming up with Stars for Our Troops in honor of Flag Day and America's 250th anniversary. You have until June 14th to bring any flags you want to retire to a Price Chopper or Market 32 near you. Stars for Our Troops preserves embroidered stars from American-made flags and gives them to veterans and active military members. And a bill proposed by a Syracuse area lawmaker is being added to this year's New York State budget. State Senator Christopher Ryan's measure calls for the delay of New York State's zero-emission mandate for school buses. If approved, districts would have until 2032 to buy or lease electric buses and until 2040 for their entire fleet to be electric. Many schools have said they would have trouble meeting the original deadlines. The state budget was due April 1st. Still, nothing has been passed officially. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time. Coming up on 7:08, here is your Weather Center forecast.
I figured we'd be here. Freeze warning now with some areas under frost advisories this morning. Cold May morning. But as we head on through the day, we'll do a little bit better. Plenty of sunshine to help out with that task. Here's 60. Still on the cool side. Tonight, some showers coming in late. 43 North Country, a little cooler. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm with a front coming through tomorrow, low 60s. And a chance of showers and thunder showers tomorrow night into Thursday. On the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stijik, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Sunshine and 36 at 7:08. All right, from the IBEW 43 local sports desk, we now know the Giants will open the regular season against the Dallas Cowboys, Week 1, Sunday Night Football. Of course, it's a huge NFC East rivalry. It's set for Week 1 of the NFL season, which will be September 13th at MetLife Stadium. It'll feature the debut of new Giants head coach John Harbaugh, who joins Big Blue after 18 seasons with the Baltimore Ravens. NBA action last night. The Oklahoma City Thunder lock up their spot in the Western Conference Finals. OKC is the defending NBA champion, and they completed a 4-game sweep of LeBron James and the Lakers last night, 115-110. The Thunder will get either the Spurs or T-Wolves. San Antonio and Minnesota play tonight. Their best-of-7 series tied at 2 games apiece. Also last night, the Cleveland Cavaliers pulled even with the Detroit Pistons, 112-103. Game 5 heads back to Detroit. Hockey playoffs. The Colorado Avalanche beat the Minnesota Wild 5-2. They now lead that best-of-7 series 3-1. Action continues with 2 more matchups tonight. The Canadiens host the Buffalo Sabres in Game 4. Montreal leads the series 2-1. The Vegas Golden Knights and Anaheim Ducks will face off in Sin City. Baseball action. The Yankees lose to the Orioles, a final of 3-2. Ben Rice went deep, his 13th home run of the season. The Yankees have lost 4 straight. They continue that 3-game series in Baltimore tonight. Mets were off Monday, but they're home to start a 6-game homestand tonight. They host the Detroit Tigers for Game 1 of a 3-game set at Citi Field. The Mets come in having dropped 3 of their last 4 games. That's what I got.
You know, you could include their wins. They had won 3 of 5, or 4 of 6, or 3 of 5, something like that. You combine that all together, it doesn't sound as bad.
Yeah.
Listen, I found a guy that his name is Wade Nixon. In the beginning, I'm like, wow, this guy is brilliant. Brilliant. And he has a YouTube series called Garbage Time, where he tries to find replacements for things and ways to save money. He has a vehicle, a car, And instead of putting motor oil, the price of oil is up. Instead of putting motor oil in his vehicle, he did an experiment to see how it would work. He put nacho cheese in the engine.
Oh my God, I thought you were going to say frying oil.
Nacho cheese. Well, frying oil is something that can be used for fuel, but it involves modifying, and there's a whole thing about that. But you may find a truck going around in the area that's using frying oil, believe it or not, as fuel. But this is different. This is to lubricate your engine. And instead of using motor oil, he used nacho cheese. How did it work out? Well, it pretty much ruined the engine, as you might expect. And the other part of this, when I really started thinking about it, is a quart of nacho cheese will cost you somewhere in the range of about $8 to $10.
Okay.
A quart of motor oil will cost you somewhere in the range of $6 to $9.
Right.
Although that price has gone up with the war. But I mean, even if you find that the nacho cheese is just a little bit less than the oil, or in the South they call it oil, then you're probably not saving much.
I agree.
It's just stupid. And in this case, the guy loses the vehicle entirely because he blows the engine. Here's audio.
Oh, no kidding.
It's not playing for me again. Gotta love it. Nonetheless, stupid.
Yeah.
Yet in the very beginning, I think I labeled him brilliant. Until you really think about it.
So we wrapped up last hour. We were talking about this brawl that occurred at a flag football game in the Long Island area.
Yes.
And there was an accusation that a woman had punched a 15-year-old girl and a 16-year-old girl, one in the chest, I think one in the face.
Yes.
And I said, how is that not assault? Harassment is, it's not even a misdemeanor. I'm told here it's a violation. It's not even a misdemeanor charge. I can't believe that that's all that is. But hearing from former UPD officer Steve Houck, here's what he said. Harassment's a violation, not a crime at all. To be assault, you have to have an injury. Injury has to be an impairment or significant pain. Not, for example, like a black eye. That wouldn't be assault. Endangering a child is more broad and easier to charge because it can be physical or psychological. I said, so if you punched, I said to Steve, if you
But
punched...
endangering the welfare of a child is, while it may be more broad, it is not believe it or not, is not considered a serious crime. You do not have to register as an offender of any sort. You don't want to be, it's looked upon, frowned upon, but in terms of the law, endangering the welfare is not that serious when it comes to penalty. Crazy.
I said, so to Steve, I said, if you punched me in the face and I don't go to the hospital for a broken bone or something like that, it's not assault. And he said, correct. Unless the person, and he gets into some odd examples here, and he goes, welcome to police work, because you have to be able to explain the injury or impairment. And he says the injury must be significant. As I just explained, you would almost always have to reduce in a plea deal to harassment. That's shocking to me.
But even assault, so I knew a story where a guy attempted rape and waited for this female. She came out and he attacked her and was trying to drag her into his car, and she actually was able to get away, but was slightly beaten during the process, and he was making an attempt that probably would have ended up costing her life. And the penalty for that is pale. I can't even believe, you would think they'd go away for like 10 years for something like that. Nah, you might get a 3-year sentence and be out in a year and a half. And good luck trying to get, especially the downstate legislators to change these. The penalty should be stronger for stuff like this, but it's not.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I don't get it.
Again, harassment.
And it's worse today,
violation.
right? It's worse today with bail reform and everything else. It's just worse today. So, all right, coming up, we'll talk to Dr. Hall, and I think it's a pretty worthy. Let's get to the bottom of all of this Hantavirus. Hanta. Get to the bottom of it. What does it mean? Are we being told the truth? Is there a chance that this could spread and spread in the United States now that these people are home? We'll talk to Dr. Hall about that coming up. No worry, Wick. I'm not going into the tick story. And The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills, talking about health. If you're in need of I have a family member who right now is making the switch to the Falcon Clinic in need of a new family doctor, and going at it with complaints, upset over the way this person has been treated by their primary. Not naming any names or calling, but it's time for a change, is what I was told. And they asked me about Dr. Cheryl Mattern of Sequoia, and that's exactly where they're going. The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients, and a few things. Your appointment is at 2 o'clock. You're going to be in there within a short window, 2 to 2:05, somewhere in that range. You're not going to sit there all day. You hear nightmare stories about appointments, people waiting in the office for a couple of hours. The other part is they, at the Falcon Clinic, make sure you have the time that is needed with the patient. There's a good chance your appointment will last longer than 5 minutes. You wait an hour to get in, you're out in 5 minutes. Not at the Falcon Clinic. You're given the time that you need with your physician. It's allotted. That is important. Dr. Kosminski, Dr. Mattern, Dr. Shemaleski, Dr. Zielinski, and of course, there's that osteopathic approach with OMT, osteopathic manipulation treatment. I'll be getting that this week. I do it every month, and it lasts about a half an hour, 40 minutes, and it kind of sets you up to the point where everything is flowing the way it should in your body, which really promotes good health. It's the Falcon Clinic. Make an appointment today. Accepting new patients, 315-507-4751.
Brought to you by Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
Start your savings at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Now through May 31st, get up to $170 back on a Firestone prepaid MasterCard. Get up to $70 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires. Get an additional $100 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Don't wait. These offers end May 31st. Visit Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, or online at tallmanstire.com.
If you're considering investing in precious metals, don't wait. The Iranian conflict seems to be nearing an end, and the time is now to position your retirement for massive growth. Advantage Gold is America's #1 precious metals company, and they want to send you a free gold and silver investor guide valued at $49 when you call 800-900-8000. Plus, you'll get a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Our specialists can help you open a new account or transfer funds from an existing IRA, tax and penalty-free, and show you how a gold-backed IRA can put real, tangible assets into your retirement portfolio. Markets react to news cycles, but gold has maintained its value through inflation, volatility, and economic uncertainty. When the purchasing power of the dollar declines, that's when investors turn to gold and silver. Make your move now. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Results may vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Hello, I'm Oneida County Executive Anthony Pacenti. This year marks the 250th birthday of the United States, and we've assembled a special commission to help organize events across our community. In the months ahead, we'll highlight why this is such a historic time for our region. From the signing of the Declaration of Independence to the turning point of the Revolutionary War, the Battle of Oriskany. You'll learn about the people, events, and local impact that shaped our nation. Our goal is simple, to help you love the history where you live, right here in Oneida County.
Hurt in a car? Call William Mattar. 315-444-4444.
Memorial Day sale is on at Mattress Express. Get up to a $1,000 prepaid gas card on select new King and Queen mattress sets. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers. A $500 gas card on massage chairs. Go to mattressexpressny.com.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh, no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Brought to you by Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
Hello, everyone in Central New York. This is Dave Letterman, your old TV pal. Remember me? I'm supposed to say something witty and funny here about Bill Keeler, but I've got nothing. Ever see a picture of this guy? That's a joke in itself. Anyhow, here's Keeler on WIBX.
I mentioned I saw a fox again in our backyard.
Oh, the neighbor?
I got to tell you, she's something. She is amazing. Perfect hourglass figure. I mean, she was in her bathrobe, but sometimes she wanders. You know,
I got to get an invite to one of these pool parties, Bill.
Yeah, I look out this morning and I think maybe the fox under a shed has maybe left already with its pups. And turns out, no, this red fox is right out in the backyard, and they move pretty. They don't want to be seen. So it ended up. I saw it, and then it began to run. And it ran down the perimeter, the tree line, and yeah, you saw that story recently where the girl was in her front yard and she was walking to the car and got attacked by a fox, a rabid fox.
Yeah, it's scary.
Came right after her. This one doesn't look rabid.
As a matter of fact, I was telling my neighbor because we kind of share a yard, and
gotta be careful.
There's a fox with 3 babies. What do you call them? Pups?
I don't know.
Well, 3 little foxes, I guess.
Yeah.
And this mother barks. I'll be walking my dog.
They do. Yeah.
And it's
sometimes
like a bark.
They make a squeal too. Yeah.
It's like that's kind of a noise.
They'll do a squeal too, depending on if they're sending messages to, I don't know, of danger. I don't know what. But I'll tell you, they say that by June, end of May and June, the pups can see, because they're born, they aren't able to see when they're born, and they'll come out of the den, which is under our shed, and they'll leave. And then you gotta secure the shed so that they don't get back in there. And they're like, this whole thing, it's like, what you do is you'll dig down 2 feet into the ground, and you'll put a metal barrier on it. I'm not doing all that. I'm just going to put some cement blocks there and hope for the best.
You know, Ronald Reagan had a good, I don't know if it was a roast or what it was, but he had a joke about some kid selling kittens at the Democratic National Convention.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, the Republican convention was held, and someone went up to him and said, the kid had a sign that said, these are Democrat kittens. And then 2 weeks later, he's at the Republican convention selling kittens, and it says these are Republican kittens. And someone approached the kid and said, hey, weren't you just selling these as Democrat kittens 2 weeks ago? And the kid says, well, yeah, when they were born, they were blind. Now their eyes are open. They're Republicans. It was one of his roast jokes. Go ahead.
Here is the guy who replaced his engine oil with cheese. I can finally play it.
We're replacing the oil in a vehicle with cheese, and gourmet cheese. Check out this stuff. You know it's good because it's made in USA. Guaranteed to be mostly e-colorings and chemicals anyway.
Sounds good.
Do you need a spoon to heave it out, right? That manky looking cheese hole. Yeah, it's still yellow. That was the most smoke I'd ever seen coming out of an engine. That was epic. And then it cleared out the building quick too.
Well, eventually the engine just seized, and
so it doesn't work then.
Don't put cheese in your oil hole in your engine.
Ed Welch saying, of course, longtime host of Auto Talk here, he said, we actually discussed the merits of using food oil for fuel on Auto Talk years ago. He said, which is better, frying oil from McDonald's or from a Chinese restaurant? Chinese oil was the winner. It's lower viscosity. I guess my follow-up question is,
we had a guy come in his truck. He had like a tank on the back of his pickup truck and some tubes, and he kind of modified the engine so that it would run on fry oil.
His point, though, about Ed, your point about viscosity makes me wonder, because don't you want a higher or a lower viscosity based on the time of year? If it's very cold out, I think you want a
you want it to be thinner. You want it to be thinner if it's cold.
And then in the summer, when we're 95 degrees, you want higher viscosity. Maybe.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the line right now is Dr. Kent Hall. He believes humans' diets should be the same. In the wintertime, you should eat stuff that you don't have to really, will flow easily through your body. Summertime, hearty stuff, like thick things. Isn't that true, Doc?
Sure.
I don't think it matters. Good morning, Dr. Hall. Good morning. Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
I've been told, please don't ask you questions about ticks. Although that, just to let you know, my doctor feels the bite that I had was not a tick, but something else. But I am going to get just to be safe, I am going to get a Lyme test. I didn't realize you have to wait 4 weeks to get your test for Lyme.
Yeah, because the Lyme test actually is to test for the antibodies, and it takes the body about 3 or 4 weeks before to be 100% sure. I mean, you can have antibodies sooner, but to be absolutely sure, you can get a false negative if you test too soon.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I did want to ask you about this Hantavirus that we're dealing with, and boy, it just has so many. Reminds you so much of what we were dealing with COVID. You hear, contact tracers, quarantine, all of these things that frighten us from just a few years ago during COVID. And I want your thoughts as we're bringing these people on these cruise ships back into the United States. And there are some pretty strict rules about quarantine, what these people can and cannot do. Your thoughts on this outbreak?
Yeah, so it sounds like, and it seems like the public health folks are really doing the right thing in terms of their due diligence and following folks. So, the hantavirus is not, there are similarities only in that it's a respiratory disease and it's an infectious disease, and so you have to do the same kind of precautions. But there are huge differences, not the least of which is, if you remember, with COVID, with the coronavirus, this particular coronavirus, it was brand new. We didn't know anything about it other than that it was a respiratory virus. Whereas hantavirus has been known since the Korean War. As an aside, you were talking earlier about naming things. So the hantavirus is actually named because it was found around the Hantan River in Korea. And so that's why it's named the hantavirus. So anyway, there are two major divisions of the hantavirus, and there are a total of 11 subdivisions or subspecies, only one of which is actually passed human to human. The rest you all have to be contacted by being exposed to rodent droppings, rodent urine that gets aerosolized. So it's not an easy spread, and it takes, unlike the coronavirus, which can be just a fairly glancing blow because it is so infectious. The hantavirus, actually, you have to have fairly significant contact with somebody for a long period of time in order to transmit it. And again, it's only one of the subspecies that is transmitted human to human, so it's not a common thing. But its incubation period is about 6 weeks, give or take. And so that's why folks are being, quarantined for up to 42 days, because that's 6 weeks.
Yeah. The story of Gene Hackman and his wife, that's what is believed to have killed them, the hantavirus.
Right. So it actually, I think they've decided that it definitely killed his wife.
Okay.
And again, they lived in New Mexico, and in the United States, New Mexico is, and the southwest area there is the known area for hantavirus. And so, but even with that, it is not a common disease. At least not tested. Now, again, a significant number, we don't know the exact number, but a significant number of people that contract the hantavirus actually have a fairly minor illness that ultimately gets better on its own. So people might think that they've got the flu or something like that.
Okay.
So we don't know exactly how many people have it, but if you get a severe case, again, there are two different types. There's a type that is primarily pulmonary, so it goes into the lungs. That's the one that's in the Western Hemisphere. And in the Eastern Hemisphere, it's one that attacks mostly the kidneys. But if you get it, and you get a severe case, and it's the pulmonary kind, then you can end up on a ventilator. You can end up needing what's called ECMO, which is a way to oxygenate your blood outside of your lungs until your lungs heal. So it can be very serious.
Now they're saying a 40% death rate. However, because people get it and really think it might be a common case of the flu and it's not severe, there could be many more people that have it, and that would bring the death rate way down, or at least down. Your thoughts on that? You agree with that?
Yeah, that's true. So I would say that the 40% death rate is for those that have been definitively diagnosed with it, and that means that they were sick enough to be tested.
Okay. Mike says, if you love infectious disease, wait until the World Cup when everyone descends on the U.S. I'll throw that at you. And also, people that are thinking about going on vacation this summer and traveling, maybe it is on an airplane or a cruise. Let's start with the World Cup, an event like this where people are coming in from around the world.
Yeah, so people are going to be coming in. They're going to be coming in from everywhere, and they're going to be, some people are going to be ill. They may not be having symptoms yet, but we've had these kind of worldwide events in the United States before. We had the Olympics and things like that. So it's not anything that I would get overly concerned about, but I would say I would be aware of my surroundings and who I'm with, and I wouldn't go around walking by people that are doing a lot of coughing and hacking and stuff like that.
Well, and I mentioned it was a boat that or an airplane that brought the COVID virus here to the United States. Then you go back to the Spanish flu. Back in 1918, it was boats that brought our military back from World War I that brought that flu here to the United States. And for God's sakes, if you talk to historians, Native Americans had never seen the types of disease until the Europeans started taking a boat over to North America. So it's because the world has gotten smaller, right? These things travel.
They do, and if you think about it, if you're on a ship, that's an enclosed space for an extended period of time with a lot of people, and everybody's touching the same door handles and stuff like that. And in an airplane, shorter period of time certainly, and recycled air they do put filters in them and stuff, but you're still next to somebody who could be coughing and stuff. So it's those are places where you're in a confined space for an extended period of time, and that's how respiratory diseases get spread.
We were on a cruise ship a while back, and all the passengers would go around, and everybody was kind of joking back and forth. Even the comedian that was doing a show at one of the lounges was like, washy, 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 because that's what these two ladies would say every time you walk into the dining room, washy, washy, and they're handing you disinfectant wipes for your hands. I think they're doing everything they can to prevent these outbreaks of whatever sickness might be going around on a cruise ship. They're really trying.
Yeah, no, I think, to be fair, I do believe that the cruise ship people are doing everything that they can. And again, it's just, it is an environment where things can spread. So you just have to be careful.
All right, Doc, thanks so much. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful week, and we'll talk again real soon.
Sounds good, everybody. Have a great day, and please be safe.
All right. Have a great day. Washy, washy. Remember the other rhyme I told you about from Venezuela? It was a little different.
No.
I'll remind you during the break.
Okay. Real quick on a follow-up to our conversation about the cooking oil for fuel. I made a mistake, an obvious one, and you followed me right down the path. That would be the viscosity winter and summer is for the engine oil.
Engine oil.
Not the fuel.
Correct. Right. Well, the person that used the cheese went in the that was used for oil, and that did not work.
Not at all.
You may have been better off using cooking oil in the engine for lubrication. In studio right now with New York Sash is Kevin Sullivan. He's the showroom manager at New York Sash. And Kevin, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You couldn't imagine putting like nacho cheese in your engine.
I couldn't imagine putting nacho cheese in my engine. No, I don't think it would work.
What about to seal the cracks when you install a new window to make sure the draft doesn't come through?
You know, I would have to look at the prices on nacho cheese and see where it is compared to silicone.
I got to tell you, that's the whole thing. It's like nacho cheese versus oil. The prices aren't that much different. I don't know.
You're probably
what
right
you're
about
going
that.
to save. Although I will tell you, as a kid, I had a Delta 88. It was a great vehicle, but it had a bad radiator. I once changed the radiator on the way to broadcast a football game, a high school football game at the Dome during playoff season. Broke down on the way out. I changed the radiator. We got there in time for the game. A trick that we would use back then and Ed Welch will be aware of this, and I don't think it worked. A trick that you'd use is to break 2 eggs and pour them into the radiator if you had a leaky radiator. And that was supposed to at least get you to where you wanted to go.
It would cook it and
it would
plug
cook
the hole?
it and plug the hole. I don't know if it worked. Clearly on that day, it didn't. Yeah.
And obviously I say that in jest. New York Sash would never do anything like that with your
no,
window
certainly
linings.
not.
They use the best supplies out there available.
Home project planning night. I wanted to bring you in to talk about this because I think it's really pretty cool. This is a night where you may have something. You can come out and all of your questions could be answered right there on the spot.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We partnered with our friends down at First Source.
Tilt that microphone up. If you could.
Absolutely, I can tilt
I
it up.
tilted it to fix it, and I think I tilted it
Okay,
wrong.
Tilted it a little too down. Got to get it
you.
up, even tall in the chair.
Yes.
So yeah, we partnered with our friends at First Source. You know, everything is getting so expensive nowadays, and when it comes to home improvement upgrades, a lot of times it's not something that you have the luxury of choosing to purchase. If you have windows that are failing, or if you have a bath system that is either unsafe for you or maybe leaking some water in the house or something, you don't have the luxury of putting that off and choosing to make the purchase. And so we just wanted to get together with our friends at First Source and get some information to all the homeowners here in the Mohawk Valley about planning for projects like this and being proactive instead of reactive.
So there may be a home equity loan that could come out of this, which would help you afford the project?
Absolutely. There's a lot of different creative ways to finance projects like this, and with local institutions, credit union like First Source and places like us, we try to find a way to make it affordable for everybody who needs our services in their home.
This is at your showroom on Oriskany Boulevard. By the way, I don't know if they told you coming in, we have all of our windows are your windows.
I've held about every job there is to hold at New York Sash. I installed windows in your home.
You did?
Bill. Yeah. Some
That's
second
awesome.
story windows there, and we filmed for the show and everything.
That was and it's funny, the windows I think that you replaced it was new construction from like 5 years before that, and my wife was like, I hate these windows. I want them all New York Sash windows. So we made the change, and it does make a huge difference. Energy bill, quietness in terms of sheltering the noise from the street, and of course in the summertime those windows have a tint, and it prevents the bleaching of your furniture, but it also prevents that heat coming in.
Indeed.
You ought to hire me.
Indeed. You're hired.
Okay.
We're hired. We'll bring you down anytime.
It keeps the cool in and the heat out in the summer.
As long as you don't put any eggs in the work truck, you'll be all right. But
I won't do it.
Well, that's everybody always thinks about keeping the winter weather out, but it's also just as important as those temperatures start to climb in the summer. You know, keeping your home nice and cool, not overtaxing your AC.
This is Thursday at 5 p.m. You do need to schedule that you're coming. Schedule the appointment.
Yeah, we'd like you to RSVP. We've got a space on our website, NewYorkSash.com. You can always also call down to the shop. We're taking RSVPs. It's going to be 5 o'clock down in the showroom.
Okay.
And it's first of its kind. We're looking forward to it.
All right, good deal. And Kevin, we appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me.
By the way, the window you installed, working fine.
Hey, I'm glad to hear it.
I was going to say, it's probably a great thing you don't remember him, because you've had a couple contractor issues maybe.
Well, not with New York Sash.
Not with New York Sash, but you remember the ones that you threw out of the house, right?
Maybe it didn't go so well.
Must be the guys using the cheese.
Yeah, that's why they had to come back and pay him back. We'll leave it at that. Bring it full circle. All right, Kevin, thank you. Coming up, Hobica's free money question. Davey, what are we looking at this morning in terms of money?
$200, Bill.
All right, $200. Thank you, Kevin. Let's make it caller number 7. And why don't we do it right now? 315-736-0186. Caller 7, your chance to win from Hobica and WIBX right now.
We have sunshine, 37 degrees at 7:41. Good morning, I'm Jeff Manaske. President Trump warning the current ceasefire with Iran is on life support. He made that comment to reporters in the Oval Office. It comes as Trump is set to depart for China today, where he'll meet later this week with Chinese President Xi Jinping. China and Iran have a close strategic relationship, with China being its largest trade partner, buying over 80% of its oil. The final evacuation flights removing people from a Hantavirus infected cruise ship where 3 people died have now landed in the Netherlands. The final flight carried 22 crew members from the luxury cruise vessel MV Handius to the base in the Netherlands. Officials in Texas believe a body found near railroad tracks in Bexar County connected to the 6 people found dead in a boxcar in Laredo. In a news conference on Monday, the sheriff there said Union Pacific Railroad police found a man's body near the tracks. ICE investigators say the bodies found Sunday in Laredo were part of an apparent human smuggling operation. Officials believe the Bexar County body was part of that same group. Closing arguments begin today in Harvey Weinstein's 3rd rape trial in Lower Manhattan. Jessica Mann testified against Weinstein for a 3rd time, saying the Hollywood producer trapped her in a Manhattan hotel room and raped her in 2013. Weinstein has pleaded not guilty to the charges, saying the sex was consensual. He was convicted of raping Mann in 2020, but that verdict was overturned. A new report accusing Meta of not doing enough to stop scammers who use Facebook and Instagram to prey on senior citizens. The report out today from the Center for Countering Digital Hate found that 30 of the most active scam accounts drew more than 200 million impressions on Facebook, mostly from people over the age of 65.
You know, they catch you at a moment where, that throughway thing. You're never going to fall for the throughway thing unless you were just on the throughway. And by chance, you get the message. It's like your Easy Pass is going to be canceled. And people fall for this stuff. Just by coincidence. It happens often.
And actor Jalen Best will be lacing up the gloves to play late boxing legend Muhammad Ali in an upcoming Prime Video series called The Greatest. He's got the backing of producer Michael B. Jordan and Ali's wife, Lonnie. The show is set to be released sometime later this year. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 7:43.
I figured we'd be here. Freeze warning now, with some areas under frost advisories this morning. Cold May morning. As we head on through the day, we'll do a little bit better. Plenty of sunshine to help out with that task. Here's 60. Still on the cool side. Tonight, some showers coming in late. 43 North Country, a little cooler. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm with a front coming through tomorrow. Low 60s. And a chance of showers and thunder showers tomorrow night into Thursday. On the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stitchick. WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
That sun looks nice. We do officially... I think the freeze warning has been lifted. We are at 37 degrees.
All right, I want to say, John, are you there? John is in Utica. Hi, John.
How are we doing this morning?
Good. How are you doing on time? You okay to hang?
Yep, I'm good.
Davey, I think we should increase his money to $250 today, because I have a doozy of a question. To me, the question is good enough to say, yeah, that's a $250 question. What do you think, Davey? Okay, for those who can't see Davey, he's shrugging.
Yeah, he's not happy either.
It's not a radio move. He's shrugging. All right, listen, John. You stand by. We're going to make it $250 plus a chance at a $100 oil change. Willing to wait?
Okay, thanks.
All right, stand by. Don't go anywhere. Kind of like this one. It's a goodie. It's coming right up. We'll do it next at WIBX.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They've been your hometown buyer for over 50 years. While other gold and silver buyers claim to offer the highest prices, the Potting Shed Antiques actually delivers. Let Don Hartman take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. The Potting Shed Antiques, open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Visit thepottingshedantiques.com.
Are you sick of being just a number or doing a mindless job? Become a craftsman in a trade. Become an IBEW electrician. The IBEW and the Electrician Training Alliance will give you all the tools necessary at their state-of-the-art training facility. Earn as you learn. Paid training while you get your certification. What are you waiting for? Become an IBEW Local 43 electrician. Call or go online today to learn more. Find your career at IBEW and let the Electrician Training Alliance light up your future.
You wouldn't drive a car without suspension, so why mow without it? Ferris Commercial Mowers set the bar as the first and only manufacturer to integrate suspension into their mowers, allowing you to go faster, cut better, and not get beat up. Whether you're a professional cutter or a homeowner that wants to mow like a pro, Ferris is there with the commercial-grade mowers to keep you going strong. Visit the Caledonia family today at Clinton Tractor to set up a test drive and feel the Ferris difference.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
For 250 years, the spirit of American independence has endured, and now the United States Mint honors that legacy with what may be the most patriotic and symbolic Washington Quarter ever issued. The 1776-2026 Revolutionary War Quarter celebrates 250 years of American freedom, a freedom that would not exist without the leadership of the Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army, George Washington. The tenacity and spirit of the Continental Army is carried in this quarter, and now you can hold that history in your hands. But hurry, pre-sale slots are limited. This one-year-only design, dual-dated 1776-2026 Revolutionary War Quarter is 250 years in the making. With only a fraction of a percent of coins in this condition, this is a true rarity. Call 800-978-4470 to secure this groundbreaking dual-date Washington Quarter before they sell out. That's 800-978-4470. 800-978-4470.
Start your savings at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Now through May 31st, get up to $180 back on a Bridgestone prepaid MasterCard. Get $80 back when you buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires. Get an additional $100 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Don't wait. These offers end May 31st. Visit Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, or online at tallmanstire.com.
Celebrating 100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
There's a pain in the studio. How do you get rid of it? The Good Feet Store. You may have some pain. It could be knee, hip, back pain. All could very well be coming from the way you walk, from your feet. Enter the Good Feet Store. They have a plan where you walk through the door with no appointment, and there's a free, no-obligation, personalized fitting. A test walk that will show you where you may be having your issue. And these are inserts that go into your shoes. It's a 3-step system, and you're exercising and repairing your walk without even knowing it. It's really quite incredible. People swear by it. Enter the Good Feet Store in New Hartford, 4630 Commercial Drive in New Hartford. You can call for information at 315-999-3910 for the Good Feet Store. John is in Utica. Hello, John. Good morning.
Good morning again.
How are you feeling here about this, John? You shaking everything off? You've got yourself in a limber state where your brain is ready to work here.
As ready as I'm going to be.
Okay. All right. Here is your question. You will have 7 seconds to answer. A few moments ago, we were talking about this with Dr. Hall. Here we go. They say Gene Hackman may have died of Hantavirus. In which movie did Gene Hackman die because Sharon Stone's character shot him to death? Ready, go.
The French Connection.
Was it? Oh, you know your Gene Hackman. Was it French Connection? Yeah, a little early for Sharon Stone, I think. Paul Buckley, what do you think?
He didn't die in that movie.
No, I know that, but what movie did she shoot?
I don't remember being
you really would. It's a Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman movie.
I don't remember the movie.
The movie is 1995, The Quick and the Dead.
Oh, that Western movie. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We will give you the oil change, though. It is in Rome, so a short little drive for you. It's Jackson Auto Outlet and Taylor's Trailers. You get a free oil change, free multi-point inspection, passenger vehicles, and light-duty trucks only, up to 7 quarts. It's a $99 value. By the way, go to Jackson Auto Outlet and Taylor's Trailers for trailers, and they offer automobiles, ATVs, all in one place. There's a DMV site on premises for purchases located 7113 East Dominic Street in Rome. So, John, you hang in there, and we're going to get you that oil change, all right?
Okay, thanks.
All right, John, thank you. That was a good question.
It was very quick in the head.
I thought it fit because we're talking about movies. Paul Buckley is in studio.
Good morning,
along with the creator of this movie, Dennis Dewey. And Dennis, I'll have you get nice and tight on the mic. Paul, I'll let you do the introduction.
Well, I met Dennis at
there are screenings coming up.
Right. I met Dennis a couple times at some movies at the Munson and also at the Historical Society. And he's basically a documentarian, and he made this movie here, and he showed it to me yesterday, and it's fascinating. It's the concept is unbelievable. It's way over my head. It's AI and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know how he came about this, but the writing process and all this stuff, it's a labor of love, and it's well worth seeing. I mean, just to see if you can understand it first of all, because I'm like out in left field when it comes to technology.
I saw some of the movie, go ahead.
I was going to say I have talked about this before. I have an irrational fear of AI. 2051. I wonder if it'll take us that long to get there. And it's called 2051: The Return Project. But this stuff scares me. Is this a horror film? Or is this sci-fi? What category is this?
Well, it's science and it's fiction, but it's not science fiction. It's more about the relationships and the philosophical moral issues related to what's coming inevitably.
This is the downloading of the human brain. This is what this, and I'm wondering, Paul, it'll take about
1 gig for me.
Well, it's going to take about 28 years or whatever for us to get to 2051. I haven't done the math. But I wonder if you and I will be here.
Oh, I don't think so.
I kind of feel like maybe,
Either that or we'll be stored in some hard drive.
I'm in a hard drive. I'm an optimist. Tell me the storyline, Dennis.
Well, it evolved over time, but basically it is the quest to download the first brain and neural network undertaken by Hale Research, the Humanistic Artificial Intelligence Lab in Palo Alto, California. And the director of that program has been at it for 20 years. He's kind of the main character, along with his protege, played by Jane Hart. And as it evolves, we learn that the search process for the candidate for the brain download actually, they arrive at several candidates, but when the scientist is diagnosed with terminal pancreatic cancer, they interview him, and it makes sense, of course, that he be the one. And so he continues this relationship with his protege, with whom he's very close. She's like a daughter to him. Throughout the course of the film, as he moves from really wanting out of it entirely to acceptance, to resolution. That I won't spill the beans.
Right, you won't give it away anymore.
Sure.
Was this all shot in Utica? How did you go ahead on that?
Yeah, most of it was shot in my bedroom studio, my basement.
Okay.
The exterior, the other larger interior scenes were shot at MVCC Rome and SUNY Poly. Some of it was shot in Spain because the actor moved to Spain, and I had to go to Spain to shoot.
What a terrible thing! Yeah, that's a write-off.
Yeah. So, but it's amazing what you can do with movie magic.
Yeah.
What brought you to Utica and why?
We live here.
I live here.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a newcomer. I've only been here 40 years.
I love that.
apologize. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, you assume that being a creator of a movie might have come from somewhere else, but
well, there was the mention of Spain and Palo Alto, so
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
assumed it was the
You'll
left
see,
coast.
some local locations.
Spain, the beauty of Spain was it gave you an excuse to go to Spain.
Yeah, well, exactly. Actually, she's my daughter. She's the only one who's had any training in acting.
Okay.
Her undergraduate degree was in theater, with a concentration in acting, and so she really kind of makes the film. But
Nice.
She's actually a clinical psychologist. So.
And the goal, are you going to submit this to some festivals, that sort of thing? I mean, what's the goal?
Yeah, I plan to. I'm
yeah.
just right now enjoying having finished the thing. After 14 months, I have had no life.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to schlep it around to some film festivals.
Paul, your
I was saying,
impression of all this.
there are some local locations that he shot here in Utica, but yes, you could see by watching this movie how long it took. It's a labor of love. I mean, it's just like painstakingly in depth and intricate and stuff like that. So I'm glad to see you came out on the other side alive. You know?
Yeah. You have a showing coming up on May 21st at Munson.
There's one tonight.
That's there is one tonight. Where are we on that one? Oh, tonight, The Other Side. You'll be showing the movie at 7:30 as a sneak preview. Tomorrow we'll be at MVCC Rome at 4 p.m. And then it'll be available to be seen at Munson on May 21st, Unity Hall, Barneveld on the 28th, and Rome Capitol on the 26th of June.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dennis's forte in the past has been documentaries, and he's done a lot of those with the Historical Society. And I tell everybody, just pick up a camera, get your feet wet, get your hands dirty, whatever you got to do, just get out there and shoot stuff. You know. So,
isn't it amazing? If I could, as somebody who Paul and I both shoot a lot of video, and it is really amazing how accessible all of this is. So, what equipment do you use when you're shooting something like this? What is?
Well, it's pretty basic. I use an iPhone 13 and an iPhone 15 Pro.
Okay.
And I edit with iMovie.
The whole thing was shot with the two phones?
Exactly.
No kidding.
Yeah.
The visuals are brilliant.
Some people think that that's not filmmaking, but I beg to differ because you can do amazing things with the quality of these films.
I will say, and I have several cameras, but my iPhone, I oftentimes will shoot commercials on an iPhone.
I was simply
and
amazed
it's
at that.
better quality.
Yes.
It is better quality.
Sean Baker, I think is his name, who won the Academy Award for Best Picture last year.
Yeah.
I believe that was his first film shot with something other than iPhones.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, really cool. Okay, is there a website people can go to check you out?
Yes, it's a long one. It's www.2051 thereturnproject.com. All one big long word.
All right. Well, good luck with it. And Paul, anything else that's happening in the area?
I got a couple things in the fire.
As the films are.
Yes. Well, we're working on that now.
Quite busy.
And hopefully, maybe we'll have a film here this summer. And then maybe one of the directors that was here, possibly for the Christmas story, he may be returning. Hopefully, I don't know.
Okay. All right.
We're working on that, but. A lot of people are going to the capital region. I got a lot of these location scouts that come up here, check some things out. They love it, but we just had that the Severance here. They may be back here, not Severance, but the Gilded Age. They may be back here in the fall, depending if they get green lit for the next season. So
they shot at the train station, right?
Well, they came, they looked at it, but then they went someplace else. I don't know what it was.
They did.
I don't know what it was.
I knew it was happening, and then all of a sudden it kind of went.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there, but. They love all the other locations from that era in Utica here, and there's plenty of them. So hopefully they'll be back, and I will let you know.
All right, good stuff.
And thank you for having us.
Again, that's 2051, thereturnproject.com. If I have
2051, The Return Project.
The other side tomorrow night, MVCC Rome, and then next Wednesday at Munson.
Thursday.
Next Thursday at Munson.
All right, guys, thank you so much. We
thank
appreciate
you for having us. Thank you for having us.
I want to tell you about River Hills Properties. They continue to, it's all about the services that are provided, how they make your life easier when it comes to selling your home, which can be one of the most stressful periods you will go through. Transactions, very, very stressful. River Hills provides the book, 40 to 100 pages, filled with everything there is to know about the home. And, of course, no lockbox. Your listing agent is there every time the house is shown. Offices here in Barneveld and Little Falls, Newport, and Rome. And if you may be considering becoming a snowbird, a beautiful office in Sarasota, Florida. It's River Hills Properties. Nobody sells homes like River Hills.
WIBX Utica Road, W295 From the WB Payne Insurance Studio, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
Iran will be a big topic in China. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. When President Trump goes there for talks, he'll leave today after saying this about the ceasefire.
It's one of the weakest right now. It's on life support.
Calling garbage Iran's counter-proposal trying to end the conflict. And now Israel is sending Iron Dome missile defense to a Gulf country Iran's attacked the United Arab Emirates. Fox's Lucas Tomlinson's there in Dubai.
Multiple officials tell Fox the Emirates are not taking any of these attacks on this country lying down. They've hit back, launching multiple airstrikes against Iranian oil facilities, as first reported by the Wall Street Journal, after more than 2,800 Iranian drones and missiles have been launched here, more than twice the number launched at any other country during the war, including Israel.
And oil prices up more than 3% as shipping remains mostly halted in the Strait of Hormuz, which China relies on heavily for oil as the U.S. military keeps a blockade around Iran's ports. The Americans quarantined in Omaha after being taken off that Hantavirus-stricken cruise ship are said to be doing well without symptoms. Ashley Newmeyer, the director of Public Health Nebraska, tells Fox this morning.
Hantavirus, in order for it to spread, it does need prolonged human-to-human contact. So this is different from the COVID-19 virus. 2 others are isolated in Atlanta, others quarantined overseas. The outbreak killed 3 people on the cruise. Days after Virginia's Supreme Court struck down as illegal a voter-approved congressional redistricting map that would benefit Democrats. A win for Republicans again at the Supreme Court.
On Friday, Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall asked the Supreme Court to pause a lower court ruling blocking the state from using a congressional map approved in 2023 until after the 2030 census. Approved by the state's GOP legislature, the map would eliminate one of the state's 2 largely black House districts. The Supreme Court's conservative majority granting the request, sending the case back to a lower court, which could ramp up efforts to use the map ahead of the midterm elections.
That's Fox's Kristen Goodwin. There are primaries today in West Virginia and Nebraska. America's listening to Fox News.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-884-1012 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-884-1012. That's 800-884-1012. What do you have to lose? Call 800-884-1012. Again, 800-884-1012.
Well, before President Trump travels to China, he posted a short time ago on Truth Social that Cuba's a failed country and asking for help, and we are going to talk. Now, the president's also dealing with more criticism he doesn't like, this time about the reflecting pool he wants to renovate between the monument and the Lincoln Memorial. This says there's a lot of opposition to his White House ballroom plan. The president posted on Truth Social this morning he's going to fix the dilapidated reflecting pool in just weeks for only $5 or $6 million. After the Obama and Biden administrations, the president claims squandered $55 million to try to get the reflecting pool to work, but there is a legal challenge.
The Cultural Landscape Foundation, a nonprofit, is asking a D.C. court to halt the resurfacing of the reflecting pool near the Lincoln Memorial. President Trump has touted a new American flag blue coating to replace the existing surface. The organization says the dark gray basin used for the pool's surface is part of its design to create the illusion of greater depth, and argues the resurfacing is altering the pool's historic character. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Now, something else the president wants.
President Trump on Truth Social writes, I am asking Congress to pass that bill, the 21st Century Road to Housing Act, which would ensure that homes are for people, not corporations. The Senate passed it 2 months ago with an 89-10 vote. There's opposition in the House to a provision requiring large investors building homes for rent to sell them within 7 years for families to buy. There's concern it'll disincentivize construction. The bill also bans investors controlling 350 or more single-family homes from buying more. but also reduce regulations for small-scale construction and factory-built homes, encourage more bank investment in affordable housing projects and small-dollar mortgages, and provide funding to repair or convert properties that could be housing. Chris Foster, Fox News.
Later this hour, we'll get an inflation update expected to show rising consumer prices. Ahead of that, on Wall Street, stock futures are falling. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
We have sunshine, 39 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. News time is 8:05. This news update is brought to you by Stewart's Shops. Stewart's iced coffee and cold brew coffee are on sale all this week. Save $1 on either a pre-sweetened iced coffee or an unsweetened cold brew coffee, available in all of your favorite flavors. A local DPW worker is recovering after he was trapped under a large drum roller on Monday. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office's 54-year-old Shane Bailey of Newport was driving the large vehicle when it lost power. The equipment eventually rolled off the road and overturned, trapping him underneath. Deputies say he was taken to an area hospital. His injuries are considered non-life-threatening. A Rome woman facing charges after she allegedly threatened to blow up an apartment building in Rome. This after Rome PD responded to an overdose call in an apartment building on North Washington Street. Officers say Courtney Robinson made comments about wanting to harm herself and blow up the building. She's accused of turning on the gas in her apartment and using a lighter to try and ignite several items. Robinson was taken for a mental health evaluation and was later charged with attempted arson. Price Chopper and Market 32 providing customers the chance to give worn and torn American flags a dignified retirement. The supermarket chain teaming up with Stars for Our Troops in honor of Flag Day and America's 250th anniversary. You have until June 14th to bring any flags you want to retire to a Price Chopper or Market 32 store for drop-off. Stars for Our Troops preserves embroidered stars from American-made flags and gives them to veterans and active military members. And a bill proposed by a Syracuse area lawmaker will be added to this year's New York State budget once it is officially passed. State Senator Christopher Ryan's measure calls for a delay of the state's zero-emission mandate for school buses. If approved, districts would have until 2032 to buy or lease electric buses and until 2040 for their entire fleet to become electric. Many schools have said they would have trouble meeting the original deadline. Financing is an issue. The state budget was due April 1st.
They're not going to meet that deadline either, right? I mean, it's just going to be so difficult because the grid is not ready. However, I will tell you, that in the country, all of the, at least the ones I've seen, all of the mail trucks are all fully electric. Now you're not carrying the weight that you'd carry on a school bus, but they're pretty decent sized. They're like a small school bus filled with your mail.
Somebody pointed this out to me, and I looked it up. So if you have the chance, Google it. If you've seen the new mail trucks, they have those giant front windshields.
Yes.
Somebody said it looks like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Yeah. And if you go look it up, it looks like the vehicles in that
it does.
movie.
And those are all full electric, not hybrids. So I've never seen one broken down.
Yeah.
And they go through hail and sleet and snow and rain. But a school bus thing is just not going to fly.
We have sunshine and 39 degrees right now at 8:08.
I figured we'd be here. Freeze warning now with some areas under frost advisories this morning. Cold May morning. But as we head on through the day, we'll do a little bit better. Plenty of sunshine to help out with that task. Here's 60. Still on the cool side. Tonight, some showers coming in late. 43 North Country, a little cooler. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm with a front coming through tomorrow, low 60s. And a chance of showers and thunder showers tomorrow night into Thursday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stitchick, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Sunshine 39 at 8:09. From the IBEW 43 local sports desk, the Mets were off Monday, so that means they didn't lose. They're back in action tonight, though, at home, starting a 6-game homestand. They welcome the Detroit Tigers to Citi Field. The Yankees, meanwhile, dropped a 3-2 decision to the Baltimore Orioles at Camden Yards yesterday, despite the 13th home run of this season for Ben Rice. The Yankees have now lost 4 straight. They continue that 3-game series coming up later tonight. The defending NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder sweep the Lakers and are now headed back to the Western Conference Finals. Last night's final, 115-110. The Thunder will face off against either San Antonio or Minnesota in the next round. The Spurs and T-Wolves currently tied at 2 games apiece. They'll play Game 5 tonight. Last night, Cleveland pulled even with Detroit 2-2 after a 112-103 home win in Game 4. NHL hockey playoffs continuing. The Avalanche beat the Wild 5-2, taking a 3-1 series lead. Action resumes tonight with the Montreal Canadiens hosting the Buffalo Sabres in Game 4. The Vegas Golden Knights and Anaheim Ducks will face off in Game 5 in Las Vegas. And we are getting drips and drops of the NFL schedule. We now know the Giants will host the Dallas Cowboys Week 1 Sunday Night Football, which will be on NBC, if I'm correct on that, Smitty. The game will feature the debut of new Giants head coach John Harbaugh, who joins the G-Men after 18 years in Baltimore.
As long as you're doing sports right now, Nick on YouTube says, "Bill, I never knew you did sports. I'd love to hear some of your calls, your home run call." And I got to tell you, I have all of that audio somewhere. I got to find it. But maybe it's left unfound. Maybe I was horrible. Maybe we'll never know. Or maybe I'll find the audio. Thursdays are good days for that, like a throwback Thursday.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try to find some audio of me calling a game and bring it in. I used to do Little Falls Mets early. That was the very beginning of my sports calling. Then for years we did everything. High school basketball, baseball, and football, as well as New York Penn League baseball.
Do you remember what you were getting for a game to call a Mets
I do.
game?
I remember it quite well. We would be lucky.
Like $6, right?
No. I made a lot. A lot.
Oh, you did? Okay.
We made 15. And 15 and 20 for a dome high school football playoff game.
Nice.
And those were neat because you might have 3 games in a day, so we'd walk around. I mean, I was just as rich as you could get back then. $60 on a day, and they'd pay gas, 2 cents a mile, something like that.
Really?
Whatever it was. Anyway, that is, and you've called games. I think we called a game once together.
We might have.
A football game when. Were we doing that here? I can't remember. I thought we called a game together.
I don't know if we did. I know I did some with Davey's favorite, George Tharlson. Did some basketball playoff games. When Fred and Gene were doing games here, I was doing some sideline reporting.
Yeah, for the football.
Yeah.
Some of the most legendary sports voices that exist in sports today came out of this radio station.
Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, Danny Quinscale,
Jim Jackson,
Tim Roy.
Tim Roy was. Tim was always my favorite. Just had a real smooth delivery that was. I remember I was doing Little Falls Mets. He was doing Utica Blue Sox, and feeling so inferior listening to him call a game. He was just so good.
Yeah.
But a lot of great names, including Jeff Manaski, who came out of sports here at WIBX.
Well, that's a reach, but I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
We have Farmer Ben in. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come right back here. This is Beef Month. And beef.
Looking at some beef right here.
It's what's for dinner. Yep. And I do want to ask you your take on how long a thawed package of ground beef is good in the refrigerator. How many days? So I'll have you give us that answer when we come back next to WIBX.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh, no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Hurt in a car? Call William Attar. 315-444-4444.
Hi, this is Sal and Sarah. I want you to meet some of our Inserif Flooring Outlet team.
Hi, I'm Jason.
Hi, I'm Alan.
Hi, I'm Fran. We're some of Inserif's flooring specialists with over 200 years of flooring experience.
Hello, I'm Sam Rudolph, Inserif's store manager. I've been in the home improvement industry my whole life, and that's a lot of years.
Hi, this is Erica, Inserif's office manager. Did you know Inserif's will meet or beat any locally advertised price? And we offer 6 months interest-free financing.
Inserif offers the top name brands in floor covering, and nobody can beat our years of experience. We want to say how grateful we are for your continued business with Inserif.
See why more people buy from the big store, Inserif's Flooring Outlet.
Inserif's Flooring Outlet, we're your flooring superstar.
River Road, Marcy, and Inserif'sFlooringOutlet.com.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal. Book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Attention vendors, crafters, and collectors. Looking for the perfect place to sell your goods and reach thousands of eager shoppers? It's the world's largest yard sale, happening again this year at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds, June 20th. It's the ultimate selling opportunity. No more setting up signs, hoping for traffic, or dealing with no-shows. At the world's largest yard sale, thousands of shoppers come ready to buy. Whether you sell antiques, collectibles, handmade crafts, vintage clothing, or secondhand treasures, this is the place to be. But hurry, booth spaces are filling up fast. Secure yours today and get ready to turn your inventory into instant cash. It's the world's largest yard sale at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds, June 20th. Sell more, earn more, reserve your spot now. For vendor info and booth reservations, visit the events page on this station's website. Don't wait. This event is too big to miss.
If you're looking for smart, balanced talk to wrap up your day, tune in to The Guy Benson Show. Weeknights at 7 will break down the biggest stories in politics, culture, and the media with sharp analysis, lively interviews, and a dose of humor. From Capitol Hill to the day's hottest headlines, we bring you the facts and the conversation behind them. If you miss it during the week, catch the weekend edition Sunday afternoon starting at 1. That's The Guy Benson Show, weeknights at 7 and Sundays at 1 on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, in studio here this morning is Ben Simons. He's known around these parts as Farmer Ben. And good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Bill. Thank you for having me in.
Okay, so this is National Beef Month.
Yep. May is officially Beef Month. You know how March is Maple Month, and then May is official beef. June, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but June is dairy.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that in June. But, yep, right here we are in the middle of May is Beef Month, National Beef Month.
I do want to say we're talking about how long you can store a thawed ground beef in your refrigerator. And there's a caveat here. So you would say up to a week.
I would say up to a week as long as your refrigerator stays under the 40. Like if you're in that 36, 38 degree range, ground beef will stay for a week in your refrigerator without any trouble. But also, Bill, what's very important is how it's packaged.
Well, and let's talk about that. If you're buying your beef in the grocery store,
and it's a big open package,
your ground beef, the big thing of ground beef,
yep.
I would not let it stay thawed at home for any more than 1 to 2 days.
Correct.
But if you're buying from a provider like yourself, from a farmer, and it's been frozen, if you're buying frozen ground beef, that could be. I'm no expert at this, but I will tell you that oftentimes the ground beef will stay on the counter for a couple of days at the grocery store. So you'll be getting to your week before you even buy it.
Correct.
So that's where you have to be a little careful. But if you're buying from a trusted farmer like you, I would imagine a week would be good.
So so like Bill, the hamburger I brought in today for you and Davey and Jeff comes in a long tube, like a big sausage tube. And what is it, 1.5 inches, 2 inches in diameter. And so when you take a knife and you slice that off, when your wife is making you your Big Mac.
Yeah, a Big Mac salad last night.
Big Mac salad like you had for dinner last night. And you're slicing it off. The amount of surface area is just that face of that 1.5 inches. Versus when you go buy bulk hamburger at your local supermarket.
Right, it's all exposed.
It's all exposed.
Yeah.
Then that's a little bit different. But as long as your refrigerator stays at that 36-degree range, a minimal package like mine will keep for a week, no problem.
Okay, all right.
So, and then the other thing, too, is, Bill, is when you keep it refrigerated, the best thing to do is, if it's in there for more than a few days, make sure you really cook it. And my wife says 160. So bring it up to 160.
Ground beef, 160.
Ground beef, 160.
Yeah. Some people like them, like the Europeans will cook their burgers. A burger is kind of an American thing, right? But the Europeans will cook their burger in oil, and so they'll cook the outside. But when you cut into it, it's rare on the inside.
Yep.
So they don't follow that rule.
Well, there's people here that like to take my hamburger. I hear it all the time, and they'll cook it in cream. They'll take a hamburger, make a hamburger patty, and then they'll take their thumb and make a dimple right in the middle of that hamburger and put a little bit of cream or milk right inside that dimple. It makes it kind of a little flavor, I guess. I've never done it, but I can imagine it must taste pretty good.
Yeah. How can somebody's asking
some of my customers?
Someone's asking how they can buy your ground beef.
So the best way to do it is to give me a call.
Or your steaks and everything,
Yeah. I'm not much of a steak guy because now I'm still growing my beef herds. They're still young animals. So what we got going on here is I'm going to put a plug out for our sheriff, Rob Mashel, or Rancher Rob when he's in his dungarees. So Rancher Rob grows Hereford cattle. They make the best steaks, them and Angus. And then my retired dairy cows.
Who's that, his neighbor? Who's kidding? Sorry. Stupid
no,
joke.
Rancher Rob is in his dungarees. And so, and then the hamburger comes from good retired dairy cows and stuff like that. Now, I just want to help you out here a little bit. When you go in the grocery store, whether the big box stores and everything, and you see the steaks and things that are all sliced up, and they've been there for a while, let's say that they haven't sold, they usually take those steaks and things and grind them into hamburger when they're all done. You following me? So sometimes when you go in and you're thinking you're buying the cheapest cuts of meat being hamburger, sometimes you're buying the premium stuff that didn't sell in the showcase. Yeah. They trim it off, and then they grind that right into your hamburger. So I just want you to know. So sometimes a hamburger, sometimes the hamburger you're buying is some of the best cuts.
The 90%, the lean stuff.
The lean stuff. Yeah. The most flavored stuff is your 85 or so, because you want a little bit of fat to give it the flavor.
What would you say yours is?
Mine, I'm going to say it's in that 90% range.
I think it is. Yours is lean.
Yeah, up there on Star Hill, we feed most of them cows. Most of their diet is grass and hay from right on Star Hill. And I'm not a heavy corn farmer. We grow a lot of corn, but we don't put a lot of corn through our animals just because the grass is so readily available.
Okay, what do you want people to know for Beef Month?
So for Beef Month,
what's for dinner?
What's for dinner? So thank you for that, Bill. So the best way to buy your beef is, of course, the grocery stores and stuff. But if you want the freshest beef and the most flavorful beef, and you want to buy local beef, go to your farmers markets, because you're dealing directly with the farmer, directly local. Just some quick facts. Here in Oneida County, we already know there's about 18,000 dairy cows. People don't realize it, but there's pretty close to just over 10,000 beef cattle in Oneida County. And the other reason why beef is so high, this is the main topic. Why when Davey calls us, Ben, talk about the price of beef. Why beef is so high? The beef herd in the United States is at 1951 level, and we've got 2026 population. The other reason why beef is so high, no matter how high it seems to be getting, the consumer is still reaching for beef at the grocery store. The demand is high. I do know today that in the next few days, actually, the president is talking to the United States Department of Agriculture, Mrs. Rollins, or Ms. Rollins, and the Texas governor down there about importing some of the Mexican beef cattle in the United States to kind of ease the pressure so we can build our herd back a little bit and lower the price. But we have a screwworm problem. There's a disease in cattle that's only just a few hundred miles from the United States border. So they're trying to work through that right now, how to bring some of them cattle into the United States or package them, in other words, butcher them in Mexico, so that we don't have that screwworm. So they're working on that, and I mean, like, you're going to hear it on the news. It's already out in the farm community.
Is it they're willing to do the Mexican cattle are willing to do the jobs the American ones won't do? Is that what the
that's kind of it. But what's happened is when the screwworm started coming across again.
Those Mexican cows will jump a fence.
American cows will jump the fence.
Oh, that's true.
When I left my farm this morning, they were on my lawn. But anyway, so the bottom line is they shut the border off for bringing them animals across the United States border to stop the disease, quarantine it back into Mexico and leave it there. And what happened was the demand is still there. So we just don't have the cattle here. And the price of cattle have been so high for the past year, as you've heard me say, that all the farmers took advantage of it because they've never been this high. Beef prices never been this high. And the average age of the farmer is in that 56 to 57-year-old range. They're saying, you know, price of cattle are high. Let's retire. Let's sell out. Well, what's happened now is the selling out has caught up to us, and now we're down to 1951 inventory of beef cattle. And Bill's still reaching for beef.
When the rates are when the cost of beef like it is right now is high, do the farmers reap the benefit?
Right now, the
does not happen with milk.
Yeah, right now you're right. There's a disconnect in the milk business, but right now the farmers are reaping the benefit. Just to give you an idea, cattle wrestling kind of went unheard of in the United States for quite a long time. Cattle wrestling now in the United States is alive and well. It is happening. And I'm just going to give your listeners a piece of information. When you drive by a pasture and you see beef cattle out there, or cattle in general, whether it's dairy cows or beef cattle out there, just multiply $3,000 per animal.
Wow.
So if you see somebody's got 10 animals out there, that's $30,000.
Yeah.
So, and cattle wrestling now has become an issue again because the price of cattle is so high. People are backing up to pastures that are away from a farm, loading them at night and taking them to the local slaughterhouse or the local auction house and trying to sell them and reap in.
So they're stealing them.
They're stealing cows.
Oh.
It is back again, guys, because cattle are worth $3,000 an animal. A live animal's worth $3,000.
Okay. Anything else you want people to know about Beef Month?
No, I think we pretty well covered it. But
one more quickly.
In the middle of planting season.
What is being done other than importing from other countries to increase that stock? And how do you do that? Obviously, it takes a couple of years to do that.
It takes two.
But what are we doing as a country, do you know, that to get that stock back up?
Yeah, so the United States Department of Agriculture is actually talking about right now, it's in negotiations in both sides of Washington, to give us a tax incentive, to grow our cow numbers, to raise the heifers, the replacements. The finalize of that discussion has not come out yet. It's not public. But the bottom line is there is work. The government is working on incentivizing the farmers to hold back some of their younger female animals for reproduction to grow the American herd. Because at the end of the day, and I've said it before, food security is national security.
Yep.
And if you don't have food, what's anything else worth?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So there is things out there because ultimately the farmer is getting older. We need younger farmers. There's a lot of programs for somebody that wants to become a farmer. Go see your USDA office and talk about first-time young farmer loans.
Well,
they will help you.
And I would say that with Chobani coming,
that's a great thing.
There's a huge need for milk production to increase. So there will be
And
opportunities
it's happening
there as well.
Believe it or not, drive around Oneida County. I'll just give you the quickest one. Go right down on Route 8 there in Bridgewater, the Curtin Farm. They're doubling their farm right now. They're currently milking 3,000. They're going to another 3,000. There's talks of another expansion. You go up to the St. Lawrence Seaway where those farmers are big. They're getting bigger. And what is driving this, believe it or not, is the announcement of Chobani. And it was so refreshing, Bill. You were there to the county address when the county executive said that they're working with state, local, and federal government to make sure that Chobani is increasing, comfortable. This is great for us.
We were talking about the sell-by dates. According to the USDA, although many products bear sell-by dates, product dating is not a federal requirement. Sell-by dates are a guide for retailers to know how long they can display the product for sale for inventory management. It is not a safety date.
Interesting. And my main thing is cook it.
Cook
Just
it.
Make sure you.
If it's cooked really well, you're probably going to.
And he brought up a point as well, and we'll have to have you back at some point in the future. But that scares me. I mean, I made the joke about the Mexican cattle will do what the American cattle are too lazy to do, or the jobs they don't want to do.
And I didn't know how to answer that.
No, but the reality is, I mean, we hear about this, about why immigration numbers are so high and why so many of these. I mean, you're a farmer as well. You see it. I mean, how many 14, 16-year-olds from the suburbs go, hey, I want to spend my summer on the farm. Right? And not that I'm not saying there's not any, but it just makes me kind of concerned for the future generations. Who's going to be putting this work in on the farms to feed America?
That is one of the reasons. Thank you, Jeff. That's one of the reasons that I'm so adamant about Farmer Ben staying in touch with you guys in the media the way we're doing this, because it is a concern. And I will tell you, it is a true concern at the United States Department of Agriculture and the federal government. They are worried because they're looking at the amount of farmers in the United States versus the population. And back in the 50s, like a third of the country was involved in agriculture.
Right.
Here we are in 2026, less than 2% of the population feed the other 98%. Ladies and gentlemen, that is something to be concerned of. And that's why when you go down the roads and you see this very large equipment and everything, like my son and I, we just bought a tractor out of Iowa. It's a monster. But the reason we had to buy that tractor is because we got to cover the acres to feed the people.
Which is also why immigration has got to be solved.
They need to fix it. They really do. We need the people.
You have a column also about spring being in full swing from an agricultural standpoint in Mohawk Valley Living.
Yep.
The current edition.
Patello invites me to write in the Mohawk Valley Living on a monthly basis about like the different months and seasons. So I want to thank Mohawk Valley Living and Carrie Patello.
And the cover says it features several local faces and leaders. It says the next generation of leaders, and we're talking about the next generation of farmers. Hope there are some coming.
Ben, thank you as always.
No, thank you, Bill.
Ben Simons. Listen, and Sarah's Flooring Outlet has years of experience when it comes to flooring. And it's quite incredible when you look at the experience. For instance, Jason, Allen, and Fran, just down the street here, some of the Sarah's flooring specialists have over 100 years of combined flooring experience. Sam Rudolph, a well-known name in the flooring business, and Sarah's floor store manager, has been in the home improvement industry his entire life. And, of course, Sal, talk about experience, he knows the flooring business. It's the largest inventory. You're going to get the best prices. They have the experience to get your project moving. Whether it's just a home project or you're a contractor, nobody better than buying from the big store in Sarah's Flooring Outlet, River Road, Marcy, and in sarahsflooringoutlet.com.
Hi, this is Rob Hilton. If you have substantial assets, a delay in planning can cost you. It takes time to reduce taxes and protect assets. Planning ahead can save money and ease the stress on your family. We employ multiple strategies to protect what you've built. Call us for a free analysis of your tax and asset protection issues, because the smartest plan is made early.
Hilton, you know the name, they know the law. Hilton Estate and Elder Law.
Start your savings at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Now through May 31st, get up to $170 back on a Firestone prepaid MasterCard. Get up to $70 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires. Get an additional $100 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Don't wait. These offers end May 31st. Visit Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, or online at tallmanstire.com.
The Memorial Day sale is on at Mattress Express, upstate New York's largest specialty bedding retailer. Remember, no one has all the brands under one roof, and we're giving away prepaid gas cards with select king and queen sets up to $1,000. Hurry!
For 250 years, the spirit of American independence has endured. And now the United States Mint honors that legacy with what may be the most patriotic and symbolic Washington Quarter ever issued. The 1776-2026 Revolutionary War Quarter celebrates 250 years of American freedom. A freedom that would not exist without the leadership of the Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army, George Washington. The tenacity and spirit of the Continental Army is carried in this quarter, and now you can hold that history in your hands. But hurry, pre-sale slots are limited. This one-year-only design, dual-dated 1776-2026 Revolutionary War Quarter is 250 years in the making. With only a fraction of a percent of coins in this condition, this is a true rarity. Call 800-978-4470 to secure this groundbreaking dual-date Washington Quarter before they sell out. That's 800-978-4470. 800-978-4470.
Are you having a hard time making it through a day of work without foot pain or discomfort with things that used to be simple like walking the dog? You may be thinking there's no way that something as simple as the Good Feet store can help you, like Bill.
My feet would just ache, my back would hurt, my ankles, everything just hurt. And I'd seen the commercial several times before I finally said, I'm going to do this. And I'll be darned if it didn't work. I feel a million times better than I ever did.
Another satisfied customer of the Good Feet store is Wendy.
Since wearing my arch supports from the Good Feet store, my back pain is gone and my feet don't hurt as much. And as I look into the future without pain, I see myself being even more adventurous, joyful, and full of possibility.
Come to the Good Feet store today for your free fitting and test walk. We're in your neighborhood. Find the location nearest you and book your appointment at goodfeet.com. Good Feet arch supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Discover your options at the Good Feet store.
Bill, we have some sunshine, 43 degrees. Look at that.
Heat wave.
10 in the last 2 hours. It is 8:37. President Trump heading to China today for a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The meeting between the two leaders comes at a pivotal time in U.S.-Chinese relations with the emergence of the Iran war. China and Iran have a close strategic partnership, and China is Iran's largest trading partner, reportedly buying over 80% of its oil. Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth testifying before the House and Senate this morning. Hegseth is being joined by the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, at the subcommittee hearings concerning the Department of War's 2027 budget request, with a major focus on the war in Iran. Virginia Democrats want the Supreme Court to restore a voter-approved congressional map. It comes after the state's Supreme Court blocked the map that was designed to give the party up to 4 new House seats. In a new filing, Virginia Attorney General Jay Jones said the state court overrode the will of the people. Media entrepreneur Byron Allen is set to buy a majority stake in BuzzFeed. The deal announced Monday would keep the struggling digital publisher afloat while making Allen CEO. The deal is expected to close by the end of this month. Young people in the United States feel much less optimistic about the job market than older people, and it's the largest gap of any country in the world. A new Gallup World Poll finds 43% of Americans, 15 to 34, think it's a good time to find a job, compared to 64% of those 55 and older. There are other countries where young people are less optimistic, but older adults in those places share a similarly negative outlook. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 8:39. Here's your Weather Center forecast.
I figured we'd be here. Freeze warning now with some areas under frost advisories this morning. Cold May morning. But as we head on through the day, we'll do a little bit better. Plenty of sunshine to help out with that task. Here's 60. Still on the cool side. Tonight, some showers coming in late. 43 North Country, a little cooler. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm with a front coming through tomorrow, low 60s. And a chance of showers and thunder showers tomorrow night into Thursday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stagik, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Sunshine and 43 degrees at 8:39.
Okay, Dan Fusco is running for Assembly, the 119th Assembly District. He is from Deerfield. We're going to speak with him coming up in just a minute.
Lance says Miller's Market in Lowville has the best meat around, in my opinion. That's Lance's opinion.
Okay.
I think they are Mennonite or Amish.
All right, one or the other. Hard to tell the difference.
I'll have to try it.
Hold tight, 840 WIBX.
Central New York homeowners have been trusting NGEM's Flooring America since 1917. Discover the beauty of 12 Oaks waterproof luxury vinyl flooring. Choose from a wide range of stunning colors and styles that look just like real hardwood. Why settle for whatever a big box store has in stock? We can often have your 12 Oaks floor ready in as little as 1 day. Plus, qualified buyers can enjoy 12 months with no interest financing. NGEM's Flooring America. Local flooring experts for over 100 years.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal. Book telehealth if she feel.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
Blues fans, get ready to hit the road. The New York State Blues Fest is back this June, bringing the soul, grit, and groove to the New York State Fairgrounds in Syracuse. Featuring Grammy-winning powerhouse Gary Clark Jr., plus a full lineup of world-class blues, rock, and roots artists. It's free, outdoors, and one of the biggest blues festivals in the Northeast. Make it a weekend. RV spots are still available. The New York State Blues Fest. Learn more at nysbluesfest.com.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, listen, right now at Steve Ponte Mazda, you can save on a new Mazda lease, or you can enjoy 0.9% APR financing on new 2026 Mazda CX-50 with 1.9% on the CX-50 hybrids, 0.9% on new 2026 Mazda CX-70 and CX-90, and 0% on their hybrid models, and 2.9% on the new 2026 Mazda CX-30 and CX-5. You can see Ricky Z or Wyatt or anybody over there at Steve Ponte Mazda. And as we say, Rick says, let's make your deal on a new Mazda, where it's always easy to do business. Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. I did want to bring this in just quickly. We were talking about this AI-powered robot shoes. You know what these are?
Robot shoes?
AI-powered robot shoes.
So if you're lazy and you don't want to work out, you just stand there and the shoes will walk you around?
Actually, this is kind of like the people mover. You know, when you go to an airport and it's instead of an escalator, it's flat.
Oh, okay.
And you go walking along. You can go pretty quickly, about 5-6 miles an hour.
Well, yeah, but you're not. The
You're
problem
still
with this
walking
is that
your
instead
regular.
of walking 5 miles, you walk 2.5 miles, and you get transported the other 2.5.
This is not about exercise. It is
Well,
about getting from point A to point B.
that time of year, Bill.
AI-powered robot shoes allow you to walk around 6 miles an hour, and they are going viral. Previously made into Time Magazine's Best Inventions of 2023. So these shoes, I guess you're walking, but they're also maybe like rotating to move you forward. Does this make any sense?
It kind of does.
And therefore, instead of walking maybe 2 miles an hour, you're walking 6 miles an hour. And apparently, when someone really wants to get somewhere fast, this is a big deal. Here's the CEO talking about his amazing invention.
I have always been excited, interested in personal mobility. But then I start asking myself why I never walked, even though walking is the safest way of getting around the cities. When you push off your toe, we need something that prevents you from slipping backwards. You have a very big push-off force to the ground. We will accelerate at the same time. But as soon as you release and you transition into, what we call control the fall, we stop giving you more, gas to continue acceleration.
I remember those in the 50s. They were a big deal. You might remember these. The spring shoes. Those were the thing. The spring shoes. You'd just spring along. That was a great invention.
Put a little bounce in your step.
Till it wasn't. Yeah. Put a little bounce in your step.
Real quick, I just heard from Joe Lode. He said that the Miller's Mills location Lance mentioned, he doesn't think they're Mennonite or Amish. But he did say he believes that Farmer Ben and what does he call him? Rancher
Miller's
Rob?
Mills, like in town of Columbia, Miller's Mills?
Hey, hold on. Isn't that what he called them? Miller's Market in Lowville. Miller's Market.
Yeah, Miller's Mills is a completely different place.
It's completely different. Yeah. He said Miller's Market, he doesn't think they're Mennonite or Amish, but he did say he thinks Farmer Ben and Rancher Rob both get their meats processed there.
Okay. Listen, once you get north of the Boonville line, everybody looks Amish. That's not true. That's
that was
not
Bill,
true.
Not Jeff.
Considering we go,
Dan either.
Dan did not say that. Dan, we go way up into Lowville, very strong. So my apologies. It was, sometimes you just look for a joke and then you realize, wow, I wish I didn't say that. So
good morning, Lowville.
I'm
by
guilty
the way,
of that.
Good morning, Lowville. Nice and tight to the microphone. Dan Fusco. Dan is on the Deerfield Town Council. He is running for the assembly seat, which is a very important assembly seat in the area, currently held by Marianne Buttonshaw in the 119th Assembly District, covering areas including City of Utica, City of Rome. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me back.
I don't want to leave out Deerfield.
Oh, no. Or Marcy.
Or Marcy and all of these areas. So we're getting close. We're about 3 weeks away, maybe or so, from early voting. And what do you want people to know right now?
Well, first of all, the Amish are an interesting thing. I live in an Amish community.
Yeah.
And I had an Amish guy come down to Manhattan with me once to deliver a piano, right? I thought it'd be fantastic. So we went down there and we delivered the piano, installed it into this beautiful place.
Yeah.
And, the super let us leave the truck out in front. He blocked it off. So I said, well, let's go for a walk. I thought it'd be pretty cool to walk down Fifth Avenue with an Amish guy,
Yeah.
I said, well, we're going to attract a lot of attention. They said, let's go to the Museum of Natural History. So we're walking down. Nobody's looking at us. It doesn't matter. I'm walking down the street with an Amish guy. I thought, well, maybe Amish is in now. And
no one cares. No one.
Everyone's so busy doing their own thing.
It's an interesting story because it is so true about major cities.
Yeah.
And certainly
Everything
the largest
goes.
is. Yeah, I mean, you probably pass by people that look a lot more outlandish than.
We might have created a trend. I mean, maybe for the next month, everybody was dressing with their Strauhus and their, their unbuttoned clothes. So the point of the story, not to get distracted, but it's a great subject because the Amish are become a big part of our community.
They have. So, and by the way, when I was in Providence, here we did the baby car seat on the car. We attached the car seat to the car, put a little real-looking baby in it.
Oh, my
God. And in 1993, we drove around, and Jim Simpson will tell you, it shut down the 911 system. People's reaction was unbelievable. Wow. Trying to pull the car over.
Wow.
Ultimately, our intern got arrested. They let him go, but they kept the doll. The doll was never returned.
It's sort of like the Michael Jackson thing when he hung.
That is very true. Same type of thing. Now, the moral of my story is, I did the exact same bit in Providence. No one cared. Nobody. It's like, oh, well, there goes another baby. Nobody cared.
So the interesting thing with the point of the Amish story, and it is interesting, is so I said, let's go to the Museum of Natural History.
Yeah.
So they have a dinosaur in there. He goes, a dinosaur? I said, yeah, a dinosaur. He goes, those are real? I said, well, they were.
Yeah.
Oh, I just thought it was in the storybooks. So the interesting thing, so we go in the Museum of Natural History, and they had a timeline of civilization. Right, and they had like from the early primitive people working with stone tools and up to modernized machinery, So it was all in a timeline. It was a beautiful display. So I said to my buddy, I said, "Where did the Amish fit in this timeline?" And he goes, right there. And he pointed to around 1880 something, where they started. It was mechanization. They were allowed to drive the equipment off the axle. There's a word for that, but it was axle driven. Before that, it wasn't axle driven. You had to work things by hand. But that was where they stopped at that mechanization.
And they must have thought at that point this was the devil's work.
Well, there was something to that. Yeah,
the
I don't really understand
in technology.
But I thought it was fascinating. So you know, I think people. What did you say? North of Louville? I
believe I said above the Canadian. I think I said above the Canadian border. They all
the Canadian
look
border.
good.
Oh, well, that's a difference. Yeah. Anyway, so that's our Amish story for today. I did have another joke, but I'm just like you. I come up with these jokes that I think are funny, and they're not funny. So
and sometimes they backfire.
So.
Not during a campaign. They'll tell your campaign manager saying no jokes during the campaign.
You got to be very careful. So, you know what I want to talk about, guys, if I may. I'm sure you have questions for me that you feel that public would be interested in. I certainly will entertain those.
Yeah.
But I want to talk a little bit about, you know, the dynamics of the talking points of election. You know, everybody's talking about the key issues, you know, like healthcare, energy, housing. These are all the key issues. And one of the things that I'm discovering as I'm campaigning, my campaign is going beyond this area because I was in Albany all last week, and I'm talking to the senators and all the other Republicans, Bruce Blakeman, Joe Hernandez, Sarith, Katie Buller. I'm talking to all my fellow endorsed Republicans, and we're looking at all. I'm learning from them what all the talking points are. One of the things that I'm learning is, political parties set up an agenda on their talking points. But what solutions are they offering to these talking points? Is it just talking points to attract attention, to be the good guy? So I came across this thing. There's an organization called the New Dem Coalition, and they came out with an affordability agenda. So I really picked through that because I'm hearing this thing about, I'm a Democrat, but I'm a moderate Democrat, or I'm a Democrat, or I'm a conservative Democrat, and the Republicans do the same thing. Yeah. So I looked at their affordability agenda, and what I did for this interview is I put a link to that on our website, which is Fusco for Assembly. The pop-up will come up.
Okay.
If the listeners want, they can go right there and look at that, or on my Facebook.
FUSCO, for those who are wondering.
FUSCO. And then there's Facebook, Dan Fusco for Assembly, and then my personal, Daniel Fusco. So that link is there. So please look at either now or later. So some of the points on this are, groceries, household essentials, through the roof. We all know that, right? Healthcare, housing, energy, families, what's it cost to maintain a family and provide for your family. So if you look at, I can go through these one at a time, but I want to talk about healthcare, because I have been saying that we are headed for a crisis. As I predicted over 3 years ago when I started talking against the CLCPA, that energy costs were going to go up 300%, I was saying. And I was talking to Senator Borrello about this the other day, and I said, Joe, I was crying at a wall. The energy prices are going up 300%. And I said to him, it was so unbelievable that nobody believed it. His response was, here we are now.
Yeah, here we are.
He knew. So the other thing is property tax revals are coming, folks. They're coming. And I just heard it spoken regarding to the late New York State budget. I think it was the Western Journal said in the revamping of the pension fund, this whole Tier 6 reform, all that, the only way they're going to pay for that is through the increase in property taxes. And that was reported. I believe it might have been a direct quote from the governor this is how we plan on paying for it. So people really need to know that. So when they talk about...
I can't imagine the governor would say that right now. She's up for re-election. So she may be thinking it, but I can't imagine she would say it.
Yeah. Until
maybe December.
She might not have been, or it might have been an interpretive quote, as people do.
Yes.
So when you look at, Tier 6 is another story, but if you look at healthcare alone, here's one thing I'm really concerned with. And, sometimes I get accused of getting too deep in the weeds, but I have a very analytical mind, and I can see this stuff. So I do get deep in the weeds because the public needs to be informed. They need to make informed decisions. They can't be bamboozled. I can come in here and talk about what a beautiful day it is, and I planted my potatoes in the garden, and we could have a happy conversation and leave. What did the public learn? Not much.
Did you plant potatoes?
I did plant potatoes.
Okay, good.
I got them in before the sun went down the other night. It was like a goal Sunday night and getting my potatoes in the ground. So yes, I got my potatoes in the ground.
Nice.
I love them. So anyway, if you look at the New York State budget, it first was proposed at $250 billion. Now that was $80 billion over 10 years ago or more.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's through all the negotiations in the 10th budget extension. We are now looking at $268 billion. And then what always happens in the end hour is the letters of necessities come in, where the legislators aren't given the typical 3 days to view the bills, but they're giving them late at night and they got to vote on it in the morning. This is going to kick it over $270 billion. Of that $270 billion, $124.8 billion, I think, is the current number, is Medicaid. Now, so now we all know what happened in Minnesota with fraud, waste, and abuse of Medicaid. Their budget was somewhere around 18 to 20 billion. Ours is 6 times higher. So what was the response of the federal government when it was found out how much waste, fraud, and abuse there was in Medicaid? They started cutting funding. So the Medicaid budget currently is 46% of the New York State budget. What if the feds start cutting money from that? We already have a $34.6 billion budget gap. What's going to happen to our solvency in New York State? We're going to become insolvent. Where is the only place left to get the money?
You think it's property taxes?
Property taxes.
Yeah.
See, so that's a big thing. So when the Dems come out with the affordability agenda with all these beautiful things we want to see, when you start looking into it, it isn't so pretty, but it's a narrative that they're establishing. So if I'm doing anything today, I want to expose that narrative for what it is.
What is your plan to make things more affordable?
Well, one of the first things we have to do in New York State, and I firmly believe that it's been so bad that nobody's even bothered looking at it yet. We went to soft targets like Minnesota, which was actually a soft target.
Yeah.
They didn't have strong leadership. The amount of waste was relatively small. Now we're going at Ohio looking at that. I believe, and it's a personal opinion, but I think it will be revealed, that New York State is so massive that nobody's tried to touch it yet. You see, so the very first thing we want, if we want better hospitals, better health care, lower cost, is oversight, eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse. Imagine of $124.8 billion, how much money can we potentially save? If we saved $20 billion, think of what that would do for hospitals.
Yeah.
Education,
one of the areas they say
healthcare.
there is fraud is in the insurance business, where automobile insurance costs so much more.
Yeah.
Now, how do we balance that and come up with a fix? You get rid of the fraud, but at the same time, don't give too much to the insurance companies and make this more affordable for the end user. I mean,
what I say
we're
to
paying
that,
a lot of money for auto insurance.
We're paying a lot, and that's one of the sticking points with the delay in the budget. I was talking to, I don't know if you guys know her yet, Saritha Kamadareddy, if I say it correct, running for Attorney General. I was talking to her the other day, and I said, with this issue, where has the Attorney General been?
Yeah.
That's the Attorney General's job. That's not the Democrat political campaign job to throw more money at the problem to fix it or give rebates. Where has the New York State Attorney General been in this?
Yeah.
If there's that much waste, fraud, and abuse.
I want to ask you, why should people vote for you? Because we're running to the end. Why should people vote for you versus your opponent?
Well, for the past 48 years, nobody ever wrote me a paycheck. I had to go find my customers. I had to earn my customers. I had to earn my money, and I had to keep my customer. Every week, by the end of the week, I had to make sure I made my own money. I didn't sit in an office. I didn't work for this politician or that politician. I didn't work for this school or that organization. I worked for myself. And I've also worked in homes, thousands and thousands of homes in central New York and other parts of the country because I travel for my work. I know the reality. This is real life experience that I have. I know families. I've seen parents have children, and their children have children. Their children have children. They're my family. Yeah. I've seen people born into families. I've seen people die into families. I've seen people go bankrupt, and I've seen why. I've seen people lose homes. I've seen people build empires. This has been my life, real world experience. None of the other candidates can say that. They're saying the opposite. Oh, I work for this guy and that guy, and I did this, and I've been there. you know what? We don't want it anymore. This is not an exchange program. We're exchanging what we already have for another thing to continue on. This is a replacement program. It is time to replace what is not working and has not worked with something now that will work. And I'm the candidate to do that. Why do you think I'm doing this at 68 years old? I have the experience and I have the knowledge. And not for nothing, but can you tell I have a little bit of the aggression? I will not back down.
Yeah, I can tell that. I appreciate anything.
Just quickly, I was going to say, wouldn't it take? We only have 10 seconds. Wouldn't it take more than just changing this local position? It would take an overhaul of the state, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we have once again on the Republican side, and I'm getting to
Fortunately, you don't have time.
I should have even asked the question. Will you come back soon?
I promise. You let me
answer that question.
Have David.
From the WB Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
Inflation rises again. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Because of the surge in oil and at the gas pump, the consumer price index rose 0.6% last month, and the annual rate jumped up in April, too.
Year over year, 3.8%. That's just a little bit hotter than we expected. We were looking for 3.7, and it's much higher than the 3.3 we got the month prior.
Fox Business Network Cheryl Cassonia's oil prices rise again this morning, up 3% with no end in sight to the Iran conflict after the president said the ceasefire is on life support, calling Iran's counterproposal garbage. With the U.S. blockade around Iran's ports still in place, he'll today go to China, which relies heavily on Iran's oil. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum just told Fox.
The U.S. economy is strong. China's